Hello and welcome to Anfield. This turf has seen many great sporting moments over the years, and today we might see another as New Zealand look to level the Test series against England. Can those sporting triumphs in the past inspire these two great rugby league nations to create another bit of sporting history?
This, of course, is Anfield, home of Liverpool Football Club.
Dalglish. Oh, what a goal! Gerrard. Oh, what about that? How did Salah do that? Gilmore sizes up his man and goes round his man. What a debut try that is! England win the first test.
Well, the Kiwis were given a bloody nose by England last week in Hull. It was a brutal encounter, finishing 18-16 to England. But remember, this Kiwi team beat the world champions Australia just 3 weeks ago. They've had a week to contemplate how to break down England's resolute defence. And as far as England are concerned, it wasn't just the defence that was determined. Oliver Kildart's sensational try sealed a famous victory 8 days ago. But expect another gritty and unyielding performance from a squad that looks like it is going from strength to strength. Former Great Britain coach Brian Noble and the former Kiwi international Robbie Hunter-Paul with me in the studio. I suppose the thing to say, Brian, in amongst all the euphoria about England winning, was it was just a 2-point victory.
It was 2 points, and everybody all week is saying that the Kiwis will respond and produce a better performance in line with the performance they showed previously 3 weeks ago against Australia. However, England will improve as well. So I don't think there'll be much of a split in the scoreline again today. I think it'll be another close game.
Everything at this level, as we said last week, is going to come down to the fine margins.
Oh, it certainly will. I can tell. I went into the Kiwis changing room area last week. There was some distance eyes there. They would have been kicking stones this week. I was kicking stones with them. So, look, fine margins, got to come down to the little things, and that's what's going to win this game.
OK, so the Kiwis will be desperate to win today and keep the series alive for that third test next week at Ellen Road. We thought we'd find out how huge rugby league players prepare for decisive test matches. Basically, they eat meat, lots of meat.
Adam Blair here from the New Zealand Kiwis. Just about to go and enjoy a meal with the boys. Just here in Liverpool. Let's go and have a chat with the brothers in there. We're just going to talk to Big Fish. Not many boys in the UK at this time of the year wear singlets, but the big fella's got his arms out, guns out, ready to go. Any reason why you got a singlet on, mate? I think it's only like 9 degrees outside.
Nah, it's hot as in here, that's why.
Cody, how's it feel this time around in camp, and what are you enjoying about camp at the moment?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Obviously,
Why is this? Just be yourself, don't be so serious.
yeah, it's been pretty good. I got a new roomie now this time around, and Sean Johnson. One thing I like about him is that he listens very well, and he's pretty tidy, and he cleans up after me. So it's good to have someone like my mum around.
Who's the boss?
Between me and you.
And the cameras, obviously.
You're looking at him. You're looking at him. Honest.
Is that like a sneaky you?
It's me, bro.
We've got a special guest here, our New Zealand captain, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. Obviously, a big test match come Sunday for us as a group. What have we learnt from the previous game?
I think the big thing is we just got to focus on ourselves. A lot of things we didn't do that we wanted to get done in the game. So I think once we can get look after ourselves and the way we play and getting our sets right and those kind of things will go to a long way of winning this game. And I think that just comes down to discipline and the willingness to want to play for each other. And yeah, that's what it comes down to, and that's what we'll probably bring this weekend.
My worry is that if you had also booked a table in that restaurant that night, there might not have been as much meat for you, given how much they were eating. Anyhow, Robbie, take us through the New Zealand team today.
Okay. So controlling the backfield, we have the captain, Dylan Watene Zelezniak, supported by the big running Ken Mamalo and Jordan Rapana. In the sentence, you have Eason Masters, and the box office, that is Joseph Manu. In the halves, we have the constant threat, that is Shaun Johnson, and the new threat, that is Cody Nikorima. Their punch up front is none other than Jesse Bromwich and Jared Waidea-Hargreaves, supported and glued together by Brandon Smith. Out the back, they have Kevin Proctor and Isaac Liu, and off the back of the scrum, back from injury, the evergreen Adam Blair. Coming off the bench, you have the brother to Jesse, it is Kenny Bromwich and Lisa Mao. And finally, the two powerhouses, Martin Topor and James Fisher-Harris.
Brian, just a word on Adam Blair. Michael Vaughan said to me recently in a discussion about the England cricket team that he thinks experience can be overrated. But from a head coach's point of view, from a manager's point of view, to bring someone back who has captained your country, has 40-odd caps, can only be a benefit.
He plays pretty good as well, Mark. I have to say that he's a big acquisition. It's not an acquisition, he's a big returnee to this. And he has been at the centre of 10 years of success in relation to the Kiwis when they've won trophies. His on-field performance in a relatively young team, when you look at the New Zealand team, will be huge today, definitely.
When we go back to last week then, what impressed you about New Zealand?
Well, there are some moments that I think New Zealand need to do in this game, and this is more of these type of set plays. There you see Cody Nikorima going all the way to the line. Eason Masters releasing himself from the left-hand side of the field. You can just see him arcing around the back. The space is created by the set play. Eason Masters comes in the middle. Shaun Johnson finds him, but he's released himself from that left-hand side. That is a set play. New Zealand needs to do more of it. More of Cody Nikorima. There you can see he just stands up John Bateman, holds in Sam Tompkins, and gives the opportunity for DWZ to run through to the try line. But as you see there, Sam Tompkins just sits back in the hole a little bit. Cody Nikorima running at the line. More of those set plays is what New Zealand needs to do.
But what didn't impress you was, in your view, they didn't necessarily do their homework on a couple of the England players.
It's not so much that they didn't do their homework. It's hard to do homework. You can look at as much video as you like as possible, but Tommy Makinson, for example, they've never played against him. They've never seen him moving and what he can do. Super League players will deal with Tommy Makinson better, but he did this all day long last week, so running the ball back, they'll be much better prepared for it. Another player to keep your eye on is Luke Thompson. He as well, he caused New Zealand a lot of problems, both defensively and when he was carrying the ball.
But they must have an analysis department. Well, they must watch DVDs. They must.
And this is the thing: you can look at it in a video, but once you get time watching his body movements, you pick up the little things, and that's how you learn how to play against opposition. You can watch as much video as possible, but you need to play against a player to get a real understanding of how they do things.
I think there are two things, Rob. I think there are two things. You have to concentrate on yourself in the element of preparation. That's what we're alluding to in relation to the talent that's in this New Zealand team. To look at the pitches, you've just got to tip people up to saying this is what the boy Makinson's going to do to you if you let him. Now they've had a sample of that now, not just Makinson but Thompson. It'll be a whole lot harder for those two blokes today.
Let's take a look at how New Zealand might play this afternoon. Here's former Great Britain international and England international John Wilkie.
There's a couple of words that I think could really define the Kiwis' preparation for this game. One would be frustration with the performance in the first test, but also with the referees, some of the decisions that they received in that game. And there'll be a certain amount of frustration that has to be aired. Look, I was a player who consistently spoke to referees and do so still during my career. So I understand why the Kiwi players are doing it, but they've got to not be distracted and get on with things. They've got Adam Blair coming back into the team, hugely influential, a talismanic figure for this Kiwi side. But ultimately, it's the finesse that'll change this Kiwi performance. And that comes in the form of this man here, Shaun Johnson, who's got his nice, what I'd call salmon pink boots on. This is the man who'll bring the finesse to this Kiwi side. Big performance from them today.
So as we've mentioned, New Zealand have made one change. They've brought Adam Blair in, and their head coach Michael Maguire has been talking to Tanya Arnold.
You've got Adam Blair back in. Is it that good to have that experience back in that starting 13?
Yeah, having experience is always great. And, Adam Blair speaks for himself, the amount of tests he's played for New Zealand. And, he's got a bit of an aura around him with the team. I think, he's a real senior player and he'll build, or give us that stability, I guess, out on the park. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Adam get out there.
Do you come into this feeling a little bit different because it feels like knockout football for you guys now?
Yeah, well, it is. That's what it is. We've got to make sure that we perform, and no doubt, all our preparation right throughout the week has definitely replicated that. So I'm looking forward to seeing them use that between the 80 minutes. But it's going to be it's a big test match. It's one of those ones that you got to make sure that every play counts.
Let's move it on to England, because the standout moment for England last week was the try by Oliver Gildart. One impressed observer in the stadium was the former Wigan player Ian Gildart, who also happens to be Oliver's dad.
1, 2, and 3, and ha!
The crowd there around me just erupted. Everybody jumped up off the seat.
And here's a chance now.
I just couldn't believe it, to be honest. I didn't think I'd get through the other side when I give him the old snake hips.
Gildart sizes up his man and goes round his man.
I mean, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that moment as long as I live.
What a debut try that is!
Reckon you'd have finished that?
No chance.
Put that in the memory bank. Never forget that moment, Oliver Gildart.
Who was the more nervous before Saturday?
I think it was me. I was really nervous. Saturday morning driving up, I was thinking, wow. I've not cried many times during my career, but I did Saturday afternoon, I must admit, when he walked out.
So how about you? Because, I mean, it came as a bit of a surprise, the call-up, didn't it? Sam Burgess, the fact that he had to pull out was your fortune.
Yeah, it was a bit of a late change to the squad, so did a little skip down the corridor at Wigan and ran my mum and dad straight away. And Wayne pulled me in earlier in the week and said I was going to make my debut, so yeah, it was a bit unbelievable, really.
He wasn't always going to be a rugby league player, was he?
No, he wasn't. From probably the age of 5, he played a lot of football. He was at Liverpool actually for a few years and didn't play rugby league till he was 9.
So you must have had the dream when you were a kid, I'm going to play at this Anfield pitch one day.
Well, not now because I was a Man United fan, but I just kind of followed my younger brother to rugby training one night and had a go really and just kind of fell in love with it from there.
And his first game, you didn't think he was going to last the course?
Not at all, no, I'll never forget it. We played at St Williams. Oliver played, scooted the ball in, smashed his nose, blood everywhere, and I turned to his mum and said, he'll never play rugby league again. But he came off the field and said, Dad, I absolutely love that. So he actually picked rugby league instead of football.
Your dad played in that great Wigan side.
I've seen, footage at Wembley and, not many people can say their dad has done what my dad has done. And we're probably different players, really. He's, you can see he's a lot bigger than me and I'm a lot faster than him, so kind of different players, but it's great to have your dad who's played the game.
But when you walk around Wigan, the pair of you, are you Oliver's dad or are you Ian's son?
It's a tough one, that. When I'm having a few beers on a night out, I get a lot of the older generation coming up to me telling me that my dad's better than me. And so,
wherever I've done in my career is nothing now. I don't even think about that. To be a parent and see Oliver what he's doing now is absolutely brilliant, fantastic.
My dad coached me all through my amateur career, really. I think he enjoys now just sitting back and relaxing and watching me play.
So who's the best coach, Wayne Bennett or your dad?
I'm just going to have to stick with Wayne so he picks me the next 2 weeks.
Very diplomatic answer. I love that from Ian. Probably more nervous watching his son than whenever he played.
Yeah, outstanding interviews there as well, weren't they? I played with Ian at the back end of my career, and he was a tough competitor.
Take me through or take us rather, through the England team today.
Well, England's back three, huge job. St Helens stars, Johnny Lomax and Tommy Makinson. Partner Jermaine McGilvery, a world-class performer. And the enigmatic Jake Connor, partners. Match-winning try scorer last week, Oliver Gildart. Huge job this week for Williams and Tompkins. Cemented their partnership last week. The Wigan duo, Sam Tompkins exiting this year. A huge job. And an all-National Rugby League front row in Tom Burgess, Josh Hodgson and captain James Graham. The back three, John Bateman. Outstanding game last week. Partners the non-stop Luke Thompson and Elliot Whitehead. And coming from the bench, in on his second appearance, Adam Milner with Chris Hill, the seasoned international. And completing this lineup, Twin George and Darryl Clark will add some speed and guile out of dummy half.
James Graham, the Evertonian, of course, captain in England at Anfield. Because there is no Sean O'Loughlin, so Adam Milner comes in.
Yes.
What are the advantages of bringing Milner in?
He's a typical Wayne Bennett player. He's tough. He's another version of John Bateman. He carries the ball real strong, 2 hands. Is he going to pass? Is he going to run? And he takes off. He's always underestimated, and you always love to be underestimated. Robbie's already mentioned the Kiwis don't do much homework on these people. Well, if he hits the line hard, they're going to cause some problems. He can also cause problems defensively, as we've seen there. Here we see him against Leeds, sticking his shoulder into the ball and forcing an error. And boy, when he hits the line, there's no secret to him. Stop me if you can, because he's just got to keep going and keep his legs pumping in relation to getting a result for his team. If I have a question mark, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes in big games we've seen this from his team, not alone him, kind of go through the choke most. We've seen a couple of errors at this level of football. We've already described the fact that it might be one break, one play, one bounce of the ball that may separate them. So I think that we'll be conscious of the fact that he has to be Wayne Bennett-esque and control the ball.
Very quickly, am I allowed to ask whether you're being ultra critical there, because everybody makes mistakes, and if you make a mistake in a big game, then your nerves are going to be questioned?
Well, yeah, you're quite right to question me in that respect, Mark, but this is the highest level of football that you can play at, international football, and the difference is millimetres and centimetres, so controlling the ball and being that composed. So nerves, am I talking about nerves in only second game on a big stage with a big game? Then probably I am. I think he has to box those nerves and see the few plays that we saw earlier from him.
Let's take a look at the England game plan now. Here's John again.
There's been a big change in this England team's mindset. It's come from an attacking point of view, the English mentality to attack, to one of a defensive mindset. And now the team's full of people who can attack, but ultimately they've been a fantastic defensive unit from the World Cup last year and actually into this Test series. Now, there's a few players who rack up the numbers, big numbers from this man here, Elliot Whitehead, a huge amount of tackles, and also John Bateman, who could grab a quick word with. John, a huge performance from you last week, 38 tackles, but lateral movement, a few offloads and create a few tries. Were you happy?
Yeah, good mate. We did a bit of game plan on that through the week, but I think it was throughout the game, through what the forwards have done, mate, line up platform.
And what are you expecting from the Kiwis today?
Oh, we're going to expect them. They're going to be up for it today, mate. They're chasing this game, you know what I mean? But we'll be the same and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, keep going, mate. Well done.
I think Elliot Whitehead thought about kicking John during that warm-up. Bateman was fantastic last week, both of you.
Both back rows were outstanding. So Elliot Whitehead played a huge part. But here you see the prowess that he skirts the line looking for a hole. Has got great hands and can find an offload. Led to the corner try. Here you go. Stop me if you can. He does play like 10 men. He's not the tallest back rower in the world, but boy, there's four Kiwi defenders there trying to stop him. Again, here's an early prerequisite to the offload that he's got. He's selective with that as well. He just doesn't throw it on the floor. And here we see the match-winning try again. Attracted 3 defenders and got a selective, determined offload that Oliver Gildart finished off. So along with the 38 tackles and the type of carries that he has, he's one tough hombre. He really is a good player.
John Bateman has been my most favourite Super League player over the last couple of years. I think it's a big loss. Next year, the Kiwi team will know a lot about John Bateman. They didn't. He was one of those players that sort of went underneath the radar, and I think that was why he was so successful last week. I think they would have done their homework on him. Every time he carries the ball, they know they need to get numbers on him.
Time to get the thoughts of the England head coach, Wayne Bennett, with Tanya.
Wayne, when you look back at last week, what particularly pleased you about England's performance?
Oh, probably just our effort, the way we kept competing and turning up for each other. It's pretty important what we do, and I thought that was a hallmark of their game.
Did you feel there was a maturity about the performance as well, particularly in the second half, in terms of patience?
Oh yeah, they're getting better at all that. We had a pretty good World Cup last year in Australia, so understanding what you have to do to win, and as you said, patience is one of those things, and just stick to what's working for you and not get away from it. And I don't think they dropped a ball or gave up a penalty in that last 10-12 minutes after they'd gone up by 2 points, so that was pretty important.
A lot is being made of New Zealand. Obviously, they have to win today and that they'll come at you and be that much better. But you made the point afterwards that you will be that much better for playing last week. Is that the combinations? What are you seeing in training that you hope will brought to this match?
Oh, a little bit of match fitness for a start. Most of them hadn't played for 3 or 4 weeks at least. So that'll be part of the improvement today. The other part will be the combinations, like guys that haven't played together a lot in different positions, like Josh Hodgson at hooker, working with Sam at halfback. They've played very little football together, so they'll be better for that outing.
Is it difficult playing the same team 3 weeks in a row in terms of coming up with something different for them?
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to come with anything different. I'm just trying to do things better. We did some good things last week. They worked for us, so I'm not. In 7 days, you haven't got time to be real different. So we've just got to do things better. Understand that they'll be a bit more desperate today, and we'll have to match that.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And Robbie, that's the main point, isn't it? That if you're talking about New Zealand and their preparation being increased over the last week, England will have learned more in the last 8 days as well.
Yeah, I think you're right there, but the thing about the two differences between the two teams is New Zealand's actually had probably 3 or 4 weeks together, a little bit longer. That combination time is vital. That's why I expect and I hope that they put on a lot more set plays in this game. We looked at that first try that they scored last week with Essen Masters up the middle, definitely a set play as he released from the opposition side. But I want to see more of that type of play from New Zealand.
And Brian, would you agree with Wayne Bennett that you can't really do things different in those 3 weeks? You just try and do things better.
I do agree with him. I think what we're not concentrating on here, John has spoken about the defensive prowess of England and how they've improved there. They can score points as well, England. I thought they troubled New Zealand at times last week, and if they improve in that area, i.e. get into the fringes with Whitehead and Bateman, and then the next phase after that, the half-backs looking to chime into the line, looking after the ball, I think they'll be all right, they'll be better.
And I think just what Wayne Bennett was just saying there, the combination time between the halves and Hodgson needs to be really top.
Okay, New Zealand already in the tunnel. England are on their way out. It's game 2 of this 3-test series. It's a must-win game for the Kiwis.
It's rugby league with some dazzling movements. Goulden is his way to the perfect try. Speedy in attack. Eagle-eyed in grabbing half a chance. International match under rugby league rules.
Well, this is Anfield, and this is the point of no return for New Zealand. England win, and the Baskerville Shield is theirs with a match to go. But for all the quality that they both showed last week, the great defence and razzle-dazzle, we're expecting both sides to lift again today. And here they come to the Anfield welcome. It's an England side that is gathering confidence with every passing game. A couple of years ago, Wayne Bennett came into the job and told them to believe. And they are now beginning to believe that they are world beaters. That oh-so-close disappointment in the World Cup last year, that close win last week, they are beginning to scale the heights. But beware the Kiwis, because they will have some comeback punch to deliver today, they hope.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're going to pause for the anthems right now. The first is the New Zealand national anthem sung by Millie Underwood.
Performed by Lizzie Jones. But first, the national anthem of New Zealand, led by Millie Underwood.
And for God Save the Queen, we're going to hear from a rugby league fan's favourite, Lizzie Jones. days. There's been a fantastic atmosphere building around this stadium all day, and it culminates now in anticipation of this second Test match. It's not just England's players who are beginning to believe. The England supporters are beginning to believe in their side as well. And as the choir breaks away and the paraphernalia makes its exit from this green field of Anfield, we prepare for the haka, the New Zealand players demonstrating and issuing their challenge. England players lining up in anticipation. Michael Maguire, the Kiwi coach, the Australian, who inspired his side to that wonderful win against Australia in the one-off test in Auckland just 2-3 weeks ago now. Looking and hoping his side can get back in the contest in this Shield series, in this game today. Oliver Gildart in the middle there. Memory's still fresh of that sparkling try he scored last week. Long-term teammate George Williams just to his left, and here comes the haka. Terrific. It's been on social media all this week. They went to Melwood, Liverpool FC's training ground this week, the Kiwis, and they performed the haka there too. I think that was a little more blood-curdling version on the pitch here ahead of this game. This is the way they are lining up today. Not too many changes from last week. One enforced from England's point of view. Skipper Sean O'Loughlin misses out, injured in last week's game. George Graham takes over the captaincy, and Adam Milner of Castleford comes in on the bench for only his second England cap, first against France a couple of weeks ago. And as far as New Zealand are concerned, well, we saw him there leading the haka. Adam Blair back, super experienced. 47th cap for him today. He missed last week with a knee injury. He replaces Joseph Tarpine, and James Fisher-Harris drops to the bench. He played at loose forward last week, Fisher-Harris, in the starting lineup. Australian referee today, Gerard Sutton. It was always going to be the case. Robert Hicks the first game, Gerard Sutton the second game, and then one of those two will get the last game at Ellen Road next week. And James Chard and Liam Moore are his touch judges. James Graham, the captain. As a result of the toss that took place a while ago, the Kiwis are kicking towards the Kop in this first half, and ready for the battle. And already there's more electricity about this occasion here today. England knowing, win today and a wonderful series is already wrapped up with a game at Ellen Road to come next week. Sam Tomkins pretty vocal there. Luke Thompson, we can see him having a word, and the skipper James Graham issuing those final instructions. He will be listened to. Wayne Bennett waits and wonders. John Bateman outstanding last week, setting up that try that Oliver Gildart still had a bit of finishing to do, of course. Had a great game last week, John Bateman, as so many England players did. So England carrying an air of confidence. New Zealand a hint of desperation. This could be pretty special here today. Sam Tomkins gets us underway boots to ball, high in the air. Darlene Watini-Zelezniak catches it. New Zealand with that first charge. So what are we expecting today? Jonathan Davis and John Keir.
We're expecting a real tough, intense encounter. The stakes, as you've already described, Dave, are very, very high indeed. But you've still got out there and play the basics of rugby league, and an error straight away from New Zealand. But it will go back to the first knock on there, and it will be England's head and feet. What a great place to get hold of the ball so early in the game. Great line speed, force the error.
Yeah, poor mistake by Bromwich early on in the game. What an attacking position for England now. And I was very impressed with England last week. You know, patience, didn't try and score from every set. And now, you know, with this young kid coming in, Thompson, they've just bolstered the pack a little bit more. I expect more of the same. Hard drives, good kicking game, playing the right areas, capitalise on New Zealand mistakes. First one.
Well, they scored inside the opening 3 minutes last week, didn't they? And here they are again, poised. Tompkins out to McGilvray. McGilvray cuts back on the inside. Always a handful. But they've got their hands on him and they've done their job, the New Zealand defence. Here's Hodgson at dummy half. Tompkins back towards the middle again. Offers it back on the inside. It's Burgess with that big drive. Tom Burgess. So plenty of tackles in the bag. England again. Williams goes left, Lomax from fullback, step back on the inside from Connor. But they're all around him, they're pushing him towards touch. Makinson tries to keep him in, the ball's gone to ground, but the defence has done its job there. The flag is up, New Zealand responding to the mistake they made with a very good effort in defence.
Yeah, that's poor by England, you know, being forced over the touchline, so all in the tackle count. You know, great tackle, held him up, and just watch the forwards coming in and push him. You know, 8 yards over the touchline, so big opportunity missed by England.
Well, I think, Dave, you mentioned earlier there's a hint of desperation in New Zealand, and that desperation was shown there in the defensive effort, and real quality work by the right edge. They numbered off very well, they mapped out really well, worked as a unit, and matched the England player over the sideline. So now it's start again, once again, for the Kiwis.
Joey Manu with that first take in, out of dummy half. It's taken by Brandon Smith, and New Zealand make their way downfield. Here's Smith again. New Zealand happy to have ball in hand and making advancements after that early mistake. Here's Jesse Bromwich.
Great line speed by England.
Josh, heads away now.
Defence from both sides pretty good last week, especially England. Here's Warrior Hargreaves. Inside England territory, 5 tackles gone. Sutton puts the arm in the air. The kick is from Johnson, and Lomax is back here. This is a fairly straightforward take for him, and a little bit of a gap inviting him to make the run, and then some fairly crunching shoulders, making me wish he hadn't.
That was a great set, though, wasn't it, from New Zealand? It was pretty low risk. They went 90 metres, but they've just wasted all that effort with ball in hand, with the good kick chase, simply by drifting offside. I think it was Adam Blair who was found offside, and once again England starting a set in a good attacking position.
Yeah, settled set by New Zealand. Well, that's just spoiled everything. England now are back on the attack through that, you know, offside call.
There's James Graham, the not exactly reluctant skipper, takes it in. Thompson now will rattle it forward again. Lots of leaders out there on the field from England's point of view, aren't there? Lots of voices. So James Graham is not the sole character. Williams and Lomax taps it on. The ball's gone to ground. It's a pick-up and a chase here, and England are in trouble. Inside goes Nikorima, but he's going to be called all the way back. There's a bit of a stoush going on here as well.
Yeah, I think there's a shot on Tompkins when he'd passed the ball. I don't know if it was late or not.
Well, Adam Blair's got a big grin on his face. I'm not sure about Sam Tompkins. Let's see what the ref has to say here.
Let's see if it's late or not.
Just a par push, just take him back first down.
Yeah. I think you've got to run it at normal speed as well.
Well, in all honesty, I can understand the England players' reaction, because you have to look after your pivots, and that was, for me, that's a late shot. And it's one when you relax. Once you pass the ball, as you know, Jonathan, you inevitably relax. And when you get a big hit there from a big man, which
I don't need
obviously
your thanks, James.
Jesse Bromwich
It's a
is.
penalty for Jesse's late contact, mate. When the ball's gone, he doesn't need to hit like that.
If he's taken into a line,
Yeah, agree, that's different. But in this instance, he had a chance not to, mate.
Okay, sweet, yeah.
So the penalty goes England's way here for that.
Oh, it's a good shot on him, I tell you. It was slightly late. I like to see it at normal speed, though.
I think it's to protect your players in situations like that. I'm glad it's a penalty. That's exactly the right decision.
I agree.
Connor's going to kick for goal here. That's the election. Looking for early points. Is he? He's got a tee in his hand, hasn't he?
Yeah, he'll go for goal. That's a trade of Wayne Bennett.
No, he's not got the tee in his hand. But he has now.
Go for two.
There we go.
Yeah.
Two.
He's coached many games as Wayne Bennett, and it's part of his. He takes the points.
Normal speed, you know, it's not. Look, just watch him. Like you said, takes it to the line. It's, you know, it's a cheap shot from the blind side. I don't think it's that late.
It's on the. You can
And
bring
that's
up
what
to
he's
the
trying
20
to do.
if you want.
You know, the
or you can
captain's
take it back
Lennick said
there.
if he is taking it to the line,
contact's
he
on the 20,
expects to
mate.
be, you know, tackled.
Yeah, it's
you
all
got to
right,
be
I'm
back
saying
10
that.
now.
When you're the
Gotta be
backman
back
round
10
the back,
now.
it's
10 metres,
you need to be
boys.
wearing one of them 7 or 6 shirts and doing it.
Yeah.
Jiffy, when you had a number 6 on your
10,
back, how
Jesse.
often would you have complained about
Back 10,
that?
back 10, boys.
Well, you know, you would.
Isaac, got to be back 10.
It's a test
back
match,
10
though.
there, son.
You know, if you're going to take it to the line, you watch the great 6s and 7s. They all took it to the line, you know, took some tough tackles.
Here's Connor to give England the first points of the test match. He's put it over safely enough. So England lead 2-0, 6 minutes play.
Yeah, it's a great start, isn't it, by England? They've dominated field position. We've had an error from New Zealand. We've had a late shot from New Zealand, which have given England the points. So at this minute, in the the modern parlance of the arm wrestle, it's certainly going England's way.
Yeah, definitely. You know, they've capitalised on one New Zealand error, but they had 2 penalties, one to give field position, 3 penalties, resulted in being 2-0 up.
So England get ball back. Williams takes it, and Burgess, the first to leave the charge again. Tom.
Marcus, hold here, Adam. Go one.
George on the bench. In the early stages, we'll see him
Off that ball, Brennan. Cody,
in this first half at some stage. Here's Hodgson at dummy half. Graham just to his right-hand side. Thompson was lurking on that outside as well, but Graham takes it. Oh, there's a 4th man in there. Adam Blair came flying in to make sure that Graham was flattened and felt that. Now Thompson will take it in.
Very quick for a front row forward, isn't he? He's playing loose forward today. He just hits the ball with such pace.
Here's Burgess. Tom Burgess, Hodgson at dummy half. England already up to the 6th tackle here. Thompson's just to the left. It ain't going to go to him. It's to Williams and his boot. And the kick is high and demanding here. And as we have seen so often, Makinson putting in a real challenge there. That wasn't easy for Rapana, but England then give the penalty away.
Yeah, it's a waste, isn't it? But there's certainly
there's
some
a bit of a
feelings
swing there from Hodgson.
No, there wasn't a swing there, Dave.
Take it apart, Josh.
I think he smashed him. He says he's lifted his elbow coming into the tackle.
Jake, where you go? James?
It ain't friendly
James
so far.
And Darren.
It isn't, no. Jake Connor, the guy who could cause a fight in the phone box, he's
respect the passion, but that's
having his
twice
2 penalties as well.
Yeah, hang on. That's twice in 2 minutes, guys, come together. I'm not going to have a continual game. If they do keep going, I'll sit someone down. All right? Okay. But let's just. Yeah, but you're on notice now. Time on.
Wasn't it? It was a push.
Keep behind it, Brandon.
You're right, no swing.
No swing.
No swing. Penalty New Zealand. Kicked away. A different interpretation. Aussie referee here today is used to refereeing in the NRL with 2 refs, of course, and last week we had an English ref in Robert Hicks. I mean, how different is the interpretation? Would you expect from those 2 refs?
Well, I think the advantage, John, you know,
Oh,
today
here comes Smith out of dummy half. Sorry, Jimmy. Smith is making a few vital meters there. New Zealand aiming up through Jesse Bromwich. And Brandon Smith back in position. Look where New Zealand are at the moment. Johnson to Nikorima, and here comes the captain and fullback, Watene Zelezniak, just as he did last week. punching a hole in that England defence, and New Zealand have the first try of the game.
I tell you, this kid is a special player. You know, he scored last week, he hit a great line. This is a different line now. He just comes on the shoulder on an outside arc, and you could see we were right behind him there. The angle and the acceleration when he hit the ball was absolutely brilliant. Tompkins isn't a slouch, he's a good defender, but he was just left for dead.
Well, they set the position there. They stacked 8 players on the big side of the pitch, and that really did give them numbers, and it caused a bit of hesitation in the edge defence there. And once you sit back there, you open up half a gap, and my word, this kid is quick enough to take that half gap. Tremendous shape, tremendous passage of play, and what a finish.
I tell you what a dummy run. I think it's one of the second rows, I can't see him, but he just held up Thompson. He just held up Tompkins, didn't he, and just absolutely exploded onto it.
Well, they sat 8 men on that big side, Jonathan, so
they did.
They really did stack the side, and it causes that hesitation, and if you hesitate against a man with pace like that, you get burned.
Well, he's a great story, isn't he, Dalian Watene-Zelezniak, the fullback from the Penrith Panthers in Australia, one of the youngest captains in New Zealand history. He's still only 23, such maturity about him. Great-grandfather, as we learnt last week, captain New Zealand back in 1936, so a pedigree that runs deep. And here's Shaun Johnson, looking to add the 2. Anfield does its best to try and put him off his stride. Striking of the ball looks clean, and the flags are up to confirm that New Zealand now lead by 6 points to 2.
Brilliant try again.
But the worry for England there is that really is the first look they've had at the England line, and that man there, he's always based his team on great defence, and this England defence is a good defence, but my word, that one look and they took full advantage.
High in the air again. Watene-Zelezniak will capture that and take it in, and here's Waerea-Hargreaves, the Sydney Roosters, who drives it.
You can't emphasise, you know, discipline, so important. That's the one thing that gave them field position, you know, and they took full advantage of it.
That's Proctor. Little switch back towards our blind side, but England's defence matching and have given another penalty away.
He's consistent, isn't he, the referee? Fair play.
The referee's consistent, but that's smart play from New Zealand. They're going to the middle of the field. They're not taking this big English pack on. No. They're going to tick-tacking down the edges to look at short side, look at the smaller players, and that's what it causes, having to go in for the second effort to slow the play the ball.
Well, we're going to get the views of Daryl Halligan in just a second, but let's just watch this at the moment, because New Zealand are pressing hard here. Here's Smith at dummy half. Switching left again, Nikorima helps it on its way, and into the line comes Isaac Liu. Held up, 3 defenders on.
Clear it!
But they've still got 4 tackles to go here, and running hard is Bromwich, Jesse Bromwich.
Up and give room!
Kenny on the bench.
Marcus.
Brandon Smith. Middle of the field to Nikorima. Johnson, and now to Watene-Zelezniak, and here's Rapana reaching. I'm not sure he got there. No, he didn't. And he's knocked it on. Yeah, he's knocked it on.
But again, clever play. Inside runners holding the drift defence. I think as he stretched for that, he might have injured his shoulder.
Just keep an eye on it, James. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it's a great shift once again. It creates 3-on-3, but I'm not sure that's the correct ball there. No. And it just becomes too easy to defend for the wingman there, Tommy Makinson. And as he reaches out, you can see he's desperate to get that ball over the whitewash. Reaches out and it just goes against the joint of his shoulder as the desperate Connor and Lomax come across there to prevent the try.
Oh, he's just bent awkwardly, hasn't he? But
well, he's got a bit of a problem here, Jordan Rapana, so well, he gets a bit of treatment. Let's get that Kiwi insight from Daryl Halligan, who's down there with Tom.
Daryl, a good start for the Kiwis. Yeah, it was a good start. I mean, the game hasn't really started to flow yet, has it, off the back of a couple of penalties. And I like the work of Brandon Smith in particular. He's taken a couple of good options out of dummy half, which sets them up for a try. The first one out wide to Dallin Zelezniak. But, hey, when the penalties settle down, this game will flow a little bit more, and looks like we're in for a good one. Thanks for your time. Speak to you later.
Thank you.
Time on, out.
Good man, Darren, isn't he? We were having a chat with him earlier. Here's
Surrender!
McGilvray,
Stand up!
who news this week, Huddersfield player Jermaine McGilvray. Akilo Uwati's going to be on the other wing for Huddersfield next year. Wow, what a combination they're going to be, by the way.
Yeah, good luck stopping them in yardage.
Hodgson out of dummy half, and England looking to launch away, but my goodness, there's some tough shoulders in there to stop them in their tracks. Thompson.
Good hit. He always makes good yardage, Thompson, doesn't he?
He's a real good player, but there's an edge to this game. There really is an edge to this game.
Graham throwing a little bit of a dummy, but not ball. Hodgson. Next is the last, so Williams will put it high. And for a bit of green grass in the middle, he's not going to find it. It's Rapana who gets up there safely enough, and that's where New Zealand start from.
It's a good hit.
Martini Zalesniak carries it in. It's Manu out of dummy half.
Well, they certainly bring their three-quarters in, don't they, early in the set to get them going forward. And they do it very efficiently before the bigger men start taking over late in the set.
Masters just inside the England half, back towards the middle again, and Warrea Hargreaves. But that's the fifth. They've reached their penultimate. They're going to have to do something here. Johnson up to the line, kicking early. We saw him running a lot last week. It's been kicked so far on the six-tackle play from the Kiwis in these early stages, and England happy to have hand on ball again here.
Well, you can see the sort of ideas of both teams' tactics. It's quite a short field, isn't it, this Anfield field? And they're putting the ball high so that as the catcher's receiving the ball, is receiving a player as well. And that's tackle one gone of the set of six. So smart tactics by both New Zealand and England with the kicking game.
Lomax, too many waiting for him.
Yeah.
Hardly makes a dent in that New Zealand wall. So there's some harder, quicker running coming here from a bit more depth.
Good run, Atkinson.
McGilvray, the wingers doing their job here. Jermaine McGilvray. Astonishing, over 1,200 metres he made in that World Cup last year. The Aussies knew all about him. The ball's gone backwards. Whitehead hands it down. It's on the sixth tackle. It was a kick of desperation from Connor. And now Lomax has to get back. It was played out, the referee says.
Yeah.
So England get another set of six here.
Yeah,
but look where they are. They're back where they started.
A clear charge down. There's a bad finish of the set there. No one kind of put his hand there to control it, and they're back into their post again.
Well, they get a penalty. Too much of a wrestle going on the floor. And England get the penalty to clear their lines.
I'll tell you, I could tell that was Sam Tompkins without looking at the number or anything, because he's an absolute artist at trapping the player as he's bringing the ball out. And
if you're able to
unfortunately for New Zealand, they suffered from that. You see there, he gets out, and just as they tackle him, he'll roll him, and he'll trap the arm underneath. And then you've no chance, and the penalty comes.
Well milked, that was.
It's a skill of the game, one of the dark arts. Always been lost there, I think, by Gildart. And referee says knock on, and New Zealand congratulate themselves again here, because the robustness of the challenge in the tackle has earned them possession back.
That was a two-man tackle. Did he steal it? That's a steal, that is, you know, but right, New Zealand have got the decision.
Yep.
Unlucky England.
They rolled the dice, and it came their way.
It's not all about running 60 yards and grabbing the glory, Oliver. Sometimes you get game tackle like that. So New Zealand start their set 10 metres inside the England half. Have they lost the ball against the head here? What's happened here?
It's coming out the same funnel. It's got to emerge to the second row, so it can't come out there.
I had that.
It can't come
That would have been a real wow
funnel.
moment, wouldn't it? Losing the ball. Look at that. That was terrific from James Graham. That's a bit of old class, old-fashioned hook in there.
Row. It's not there.
Kiwis didn't know what happened then.
Heads
They're
in
lucky
the
to get that call.
Feet on the ground, James. Let it in.
I think the referee was surprised.
Head in. Go to the back, Sam.
Let's forget about it and get the ball in play.
Well, I don't think those were James Graham's sentiments. New Zealand, though, have it. And here's Manu.
Clear it now, George. Hold Tom. Come on, Tom. Hold Tom.
Johnson
Joey, let him go.
picking it out and passing it on for Bromwich. to have a bit of a shove down this blind side with Proctor, who's 5 away. England back on their own line, and Smith goes out a dummy half. The offload is great, and I think they might have squeezed this one over. And if they have, hats off Brandon Smith, because that was sensational. No try on the field. So let's hear for the first time from our video referee, who's Ben Thaler.
Okay, so we're seeing if the ball is actually grounded. The live call on field is no try. So if we can look in here, he's still got possession of the ball. At that point, it is held up. Still not down on the ground. At that point, it's still not down. There's arms underneath. Still arms underneath. I can't see the ball now on that. So where we're at the minute is he's held up. There is arms underneath that ball. There's clearly 2 arms underneath that ball. And then I lose the ball. Just jog back slightly, can you please? Just jog it back. Right, is that the ball between the player's legs? Keep it going. Keep it going. There, to me I can't see there if it is. No, it's not the ball, it's an England man's socks. Right, I've got no evidence to overturn the live call, so we're going to go tackle 4, held up over the line. Jerry?
Well, you heard the call. Jordan Rapinoe is going to be disappointed here. No try. No try.
Tackle 4. Jordan's got to play.
Big effort from him, but great bit of skill from Brandon Smith in the build.
Brandon Smith is brilliant, isn't he? You know, he's been understudy to Cameron Smith. You know, maybe the best hooker, you know, in the game has seen. So he's had a great apprenticeship there in Melbourne.
Here we go. New Zealand still have a couple of tackles in the bag, so they still have a threat here. Waerea-Hargreaves. Last tackle, you heard the call from on the field. So here it comes. Smith comes right. Johnson with those feet of his with a great pass away, and that needed some stopping. Was that Tommy Makinson who was behind that? That was a great tackle.
What a tackle that was. Wingman on second rower. That was fantastic. That's a 6-point tackle, is that? That's fantastic. It really is there, Tommy Makinson. He's no right to make this. The reach to make, look at the size of the guy. It's brought down there. He wraps himself down the ball so he can't ground it. Great tackle that is.
Brilliant defensive work, Makinson. Absolutely brilliant. And here he goes again.
Hodgson out of dummy half. Burgess takes it on. Still Tom. Makinson, a star performer last week, and already starting well here. Here's Tompkins.
Well, they all know about Tompkins, you know, he's had a spell in New Zealand with them.
Thompson dragging them back a yard or 2. But England are on the last here. Williams, the best of balls, and neither was there as 2 very line balls. And actually kicked away by Lomax. It's batted up in the air by Watene Zelezniak. And Thompson's in there. I tell you what, there's some hits going in this game.
There's an edge to this game. It's a great test match. It really is.
But England have got to settle down on their last play, you know, get the kicker in position.
Yeah, twice they've had a bit of problems down this left-hand side, haven't they, with Williams getting the George Williams getting the kick away.
Remember the forum coming up. Hashtag BBCRL for your social media platforms if you want to get in touch. And don't forget that 3rd test next week. Whatever happens today, that is going to be brilliant at Ellen Road next week as well. Full house. And the podcast, the 5 Live Rugby League podcast, available on Monday too. The kick is high. Lomax underneath it. Catches well. Knew he was going to get clattered, but he did his job.
There's the ball, there's the player.
And here's McGilvray.
And then the challenge is bring it out from your own corner.
Yeah. Good sets by New Zealand, you know. They've all finished in the 10-metre area of England.
Williams.
Really hard work to take the ball out.
Hudson in a dummy half, a little slowish here. Left to Graham. Waerea-Hargreaves, one of those special cuddles, coming across to crunch James Graham.
I think
don't be put off by that. We've seen him so many times, James Graham, on the field, looking as though he should have been carried off in a stretcher, and then a moment later he'll produce some dazzling magic down the middle, so he'll be okay.
He caught the shot there, mind.
Tomkin's kick is caught well, actually, by Rapana, and then the inside ball. He's certainly full of confidence. Wateni Zelezniak does well.
Thanks for that.
It's Manu. Possession so far, New Zealand just about edging it. Quarter of the game played. Just that one try scored so far. Ray Hargreaves trying to bustle his way through. Smith out of dummy half to Johnson again. Makinson underneath it, solid. And a penalty for New Zealand because Williams ran his man off the ball there. You can't do that.
No, it's correct, is this. The referee, Gerard Sutton's got it exactly right. The ball goes high as Makinson's waiting to catch it, and he runs right across the New Zealanders' chase. Just watch this. Right across him, and just takes him away from the ball. You just can't do it.
And it means that New Zealand have this position with Bromwich the first to fire in.
There's no need for that.
Makinson was furious, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he said to him, I had that. But they have to have this now in defence, so it's not knocked on, it's gone to ground. Tomkins is the most desperate to get there, and England have it back again, and there is a sense of relief for the English defence.
Well, it's one for them as well. That was a great piece of defence to put New Zealand under pressure, force the header, and then their enthusiasm to get the loose ball really helped George Williams and the England team out from that penalty, and now England themselves have got a penalty.
Yeah, there's a lot of ill discipline, in this game so far. Both coaches won't be happy.
There's a tackle so far. England having to make 20-odd more. That's nearly 4 sets that they've had to defend more than New Zealand. It'll bounce up a little here at this set. Bateman offering the initial challenge. Here's Hodgson, Graham, Tom Burgess. You get the first change here. James Graham is coming off, and in his place comes Chris Hill, and England threatening. Hodgson put down within sight, and it's another penalty.
Well, that was a professional foul because he made sure he wasn't getting up for a quick play the ball there. He broken him. Great run.
This is a big chance for England, though, isn't it?
Fresh to the field. Hill. First touch of the ball. First carry in. England 5 away. Hodgson, look at the distance Thompson came, but it's gone behind him. Lomax now puts it out there. Connor gets the ball away. It's gone to ground. It's picked up by the fullback again. And New Zealand cleared their lines, having been given a bit of a gift when England were on top.
Someone's got to square their shoulders up, John. They're running across field, and once you've got momentum going towards the touchline, if someone comes in and just helps you along, it's very, very difficult to stay in the field of play. You've got to square them up, hold defenders.
Bromwich. Smith. Here at dummy half. Nikorima gets it across, and Lou. Four gone. Cover some distance here, New Zealand, haven't they, in their 4 tackles so far. Blair. Oh, and it's an offload. No held shouted, so they're allowed to carry on. And they've got numbers here on that left-hand side. Masters gets the ball back inside Marlow, but England's defence recovers well. Needed to.
Go midfield here, I think.
Back to the middle. Smith with a kick and a chase, but Williams puts a foot on it. And almost rips a hole through.
Yeah, I think that's the worst end of set there for New Zealand, and it's let England off the hook. And now on the back of Maitchison, and that's tackle 2, play 3 coming up. They've really cleared their own line really well.
Makinson's been brilliant so far, hasn't he? Defensively and running the ball out. He has been the standout player for England so far. Work rate is tremendous.
George Burgess is on the field now. Here's Hodgson to, well, I was going to say to McGilvray, but he's managed to kick it out. And it's not a 40-20. It's not a 40-20. But it is a heck of a kick.
It is.
That's a terrific kick. That's a Cameron Smith type kick, isn't it? Out of dummy half, tough period of the game for your team, so just well it downfield and make sure you find touch.
Yeah, it's just a smart play, isn't it? It's smart one because it's bought you some land, bought you some territory, but it's smart on the second one in that it just allows you as well to get your breath back. But this is great New Zealand defence as they map out England going over lines and New Zealand's mapping out, send them towards the sideline and forcing errors.
From me. Okay, wait, Cody. Wait, Cody. Heads in, Johnny.
Errors
Josh,
so far,
wait for the out call,
4
John.
for New Zealand, 3 for
Feed,
England.
Cody. Out. Thanks.
So they're neither squeaky clean.
Work out of it now, George.
6-2 New Zealand lead.
Go one.
14 minutes of this first half remaining. If you're late to this, you're switching on. This England-New Zealand second Test match. England 1-0 up in the series, of course, from that win, that wonderful win at Hull last week. Whatever happens today goes to Ellen Road next week. Could be a decider. There is Liu, Isaac Liu for New Zealand, the Sydney Roosters man. He might be coming back to England again next year, playing for the Roosters against Wigan in the World Club Challenge that takes place in February of next year. Two best sides in the world, the two champions of their particular competitions. High kick, Makinson underneath it again, chased forward by Rapana.
Good kicking game.
Him with that big chest of his.
It's a good kicking game, that though, because they're just having to field the ball 4 metres, 5 metres away from their own line, and that tackle's gone. And Makinson actually picked up a bit of an injury there in that collision, but sure he'll run it off.
There's McGilvray again.
Cody, clear it now, Adam. Hold. Go 3, Isaac Liu.
Thompson.
Adam, no hands. Hold short.
Extra little thrust at the end. Hodgson out of dummy half and goes to Hill, and Hill sticks the ball underneath his arm and powers and tests and meters after contact. Another 5 or 6 is good, and Williams puts the kick towards the corner. And England's line will chase hard, but here's a man who can return it. Watini Zalesniak runs it as hard as he can back into that England line.
But that was a much better end of set, and I would be so bold as to say that's because England were on the front foot.
Yeah.
And obviously that opened up the time so that Williams could dab the ball into the corner. And
yeah, it was a great crowd by Chris Hill, wasn't it?
Manu making room for himself here. Can't get that arm free. Saw against the Aussies that if he gets that arm free, there's a lot of danger with the offload he possesses. Tapau. Here's Kenny Bromwich on from the bench in the dummy half roll. 6th is the next. Johnson kicks towards McGilvray. It's got a lot of hang time on that. McGilvray, up he goes and down he comes.
And look again where the first tackle is.
Yeah.
Tackle 1 2 metres off their own line.
And I think the back three are getting a bit tired of this now. They're getting smashed 10 metres from their own. It's a brilliant kicking game so far.
Oh, Johnson's putting on a sixpence,
oh,
isn't it?
What the hit!
Makinson.
Sean Johnson absolutely nailed him then.
He's been smashed from all sides, hasn't he, Tommy Makinson?
I'll tell you, the harder he gets, the harder he runs, so it won't worry him.
Tell you what, playing wing is a tougher role than in your day, John Keir.
It certainly is. That's why I'm glad I'm stood up here.
6th tackle. England denied the opportunity of a quick play the ball, but Tompkins still gets a decent kick away. Just a bit of a test, but a great catch, as Jiffy says. And look at the speed. He just runs it back so hard. Whitehead gets in his way, and even a big fella like Whitehead's not back a stride or two.
And look at the tackle there. That's tackle 1 on the 40-metre line.
Towards his right-hand side. Manu out of dummy half. Little skip on by Leeson Armagh. It's Bromwich. Tapau. Tackles left in the back here for New Zealand. 2 of them. Johnson, Nikorima rather, with the inside ball, but
good market
no
play
dice.
Tremendous, was it, from Bateman?
Yeah.
Here's Johnson jabbing it through. Lomax with a great pickup off the floor.
And again, look where they are. 10 metres.
It's tremendous pressure rugby league, isn't it, from this New Zealand side? The completing sets, the turning the ball over on their terms, and in the areas of the field that they want to turn it over. It's tremendous.
But England, you know, they're just doing their job, making the yardage, waiting for the opportunity.
Oh, quick hands. Connor now gets it on, and Makins has got a bit of space. Decides to duck back down the middle. And Rapana is able to wrap him up as a result of that. Hill. Look at that metres gain. They made more than 300 metres than England did in New Zealand last week, but they lost the game, so it's not always an absolute given. That's a knock-on by Gildart, so New Zealand get the ball back much earlier than they expected here.
They really are pressuring England on the edges. You see there, he came out of the lines, did Nikorima. It put Tompkins' pass under pressure. That went to ground and forced the knock-on from Gildart. So great defence from New Zealand.
Good defence. You've got to try and hold your depth a little bit, but it's very difficult to do that when there's one guy just spotting. And Nikorima is very, very quick.
So they both get a chance to get a bit of oxygen back in the lungs here.
What a good game. It's a good test match.
Richie Myler's down there. I'm sure he'd rather be out in the field, but he's with Tanya.
Richie, what are you making of this so far?
Yeah, we're making it a bit hard for ourselves. I think we're dropping a bit too much ball and gifting them a bit of field position, and look like they're a good side. Like they get down there, they can score some good points. So no, we just need to get back to completing our sets and putting a bit of pressure on them.
Cheers, Richie. Josh, clear it down. Hold Chris. Go one.
Bromwich out a dummy half. Johnson gets it on, and Proctor comes on here, but they're in his face.
George, out of there now. Hold Chris, don't go early.
Kenny Bromwich again.
Go two. It's all right.
Little wriggle and a ride by Leeson Armand
away.
on his way to New Zealand Warriors next year.
Go three.
He played this last season with St George Illawarra. New Zealand.
See the difference there, though, Dave. You know, the pass was just behind the player, so they had to check the whole movement.
Kenny Bromwich takes it in. New Zealand on the last tackle. Sixth tackle play. What do we get here? Tapau goes out to Johnson. Johnson flicks it now. It's too far, this. It's too far.
Yeah, that's...
and an easy one for Makinson to deal with.
Probably the worst kick they've put in New Zealand. Look at Makinson. Straight away, he's picking up the tempo of that transition, but...
Smashed.
He copped one as well, didn't he?
I think they're trying to utilise the height, you know, of... I think it's Rapana on this side. He's a big winger. He towers over Makinson, but he's... Just the kick was too far. Sean Johnson's injured.
Hodgson looking to make things happen on this this left-hand side. Yep, Johnson just jogging, hiding on the right-hand side. He's obviously uncomfortable at the moment. Lomax on the other side of the field. Johnson's jogging back now towards a more central position. England probing down that right-hand side. Tompkins, and Gildart's let it slip. New Zealand have it back.
Third mistake by Gildart. Now it's just very difficult. They haven't had any attacking opportunities, and when it comes, you just have got to keep your focus, your concentration. That's an easy take.
He's a young player on a steep learning curve at the moment, is he? Brilliant last week, but second test, you know. That difficult second test as...
Yeah, but he's been impressive for Wigan all year, you know, it's just...
He's a good player, he's made a couple of errors, that's all. You just stick with him and keep working with the kid and he'll be right.
Yeah.
Okay, food, Cody.
New Zealand in possession.
His mates here will look to defend this, I'll tell you. They'll say, here's Menenena as young Gildart. We'll put our hands up, we'll defend this set of six.
Rapana, the winger, come in from that right-hand side. Actually played for the Cook Islands back in the 2013 World Cup. John Rapana, and New Zealand have lost it. So they've made another error, and England have it, and here they are. Clark straight away on the zero, on the first tackle rather, and England less than 20 away, and this is an opportunity now here. 5 minutes of the half remaining. Hill.
New Zealand don't look half as sharp now that Brandon Smith's gone off.
No.
Penalty.
Take him.
Take the 2?
Yeah, I would.
There's nothing in this. There's nothing in this game. It's going to be close. I take a 2 points.
There's a bit of a discussion going on the field. They're not, they're going to run it. And they're going to run it hard, because the first man to take it in is George Burgess. And England fans getting behind their side now. Encouraged.
Interesting as well, Clark's out there as well as Hodgson, so...
There's a lot of messing going on here. New Zealand buying time in defence. Clark goes left to Williams, who puts the short pass in. A little bit of a step, but nowhere. Nowhere to go. Up and played by Whitehead. Back to the middle and Hodgson. Hodgson now to Burgess. A little push. George Burgess! Over the line! No. Has he grounded it? No, he hasn't. Referee's right there. Get back 10 metres, son. Play it again.
Nikorima, he knew he wasn't going to stop him because he's about 4 times his size. So he just wrapped himself underneath, made sure the ball wasn't grounded.
So here's Clark running it left. Tompkins hurls it back. Williams tries to step away from Joey Manu. Manu all over him. Clark. Tompkins, great left-footed step, and again. Sends a New Zealand defence off balance momentarily. Bateman runs it back towards his left-hand side. Williams with a little kick, making some belatedly on the charge here. And England force the dropout.
Lovely kick, well covered.
England are really dangerous, you know. When it gets broken field and John Bateman starts coming back against the grain, they really are dangerous, and he caused that overlap, did Bateman. Offload it to Williams, then a lovely kick into the corner, and you know, inevitably Kevin Proctor's down there having a bit of treatment.
We spoke about that last week, didn't we, in the build-up, about the lovely little touches, a lovely kick behind from George Williams. He did it in the Super League final.
But if you watch here, it's Bateman. Look how Bateman will come against the grain. But this is a tremendous tackle here from Nikorima. And look at the position of the referee as well. But Nikorima, it goes around the ball. There's no chance of grounding on the floor. He's between the ball and the floor. And great positioning from Gerard Sutton.
Okay, time your run, time it. Okay, Sean.
So the dropout. England looking as though they might be changing up again here in just a while. James Graham and Tom Burgess ready to come back on. George Burgess was coming off, but has been sent back on again momentarily. Here comes Hill.
He's played well since coming on. Hill.
Good player.
Kenny, nothing
really well.
extra.
Clark.
Hold. Go one.
And now Tompkins. Here's Williams. Whitehead. Pushing in.
Hold. Kevin up now. Hold, loosen. Hold. Go, 2.
Scored late, of course, in the half, in the first test, England. Can they do something similar again here? Clark stands and waits, 18 metres out, goes right to Tompkins again. England's line comes on and Bateman crashes in. But they stick a hold. He's wrestling hard.
But I think that's good play from him. They're trying to go through them now rather than round them. And that will keep their edges honest.
Hodgson puts it back. Williams skips into the hole, tosses up for Makinson. What a try! Tommy Makinson. The quality of him as a finisher made that an inevitability from the moment he caught that. England do have their try, they do have parity, and they've got a kick to come.
Well, he deserved that, hasn't he? He has been brilliant in this first half. But George Williams, what a lovely ball. Over the top, he hits it on the run. No way they were going to stop him.
Well, it is at the minute that Tommy Makinson show, isn't it? Defensively, returning the kick and attacking wise, but what a pass that was from George Williams. The ball shifted right to left, and then he selects the correct pass. It's opening the defence. He goes over the top. Makinson has held his shape. He's really got the width there by holding his chalk. and that just gives him enough space, and he was always going to score from there. Great finish from Makinson.
Yeah, they worked the numbers as well. Just watch. You got White there in there as well. There's one dummy runner, just White there. They can't drift very early because of the extra man, and that's a great finish. Lovely pass by Williams.
And that's the advantage of having Hodgson playing as in the middle channel as a ball player. Clark's running the dummy half. Hodgson's playing as that third middle player, and he was instrumental in that shift from right to left. Tremendous try.
So the coach has seen enough for the time being. He's off to the dressing rooms to deliver his half-time talk, because I think by the time Connor's kicked this and the restart, it will be half-time, to give his side the lead from the top. Oh, that's a poor kick. It wasn't that far away in the end, but he didn't strike that awfully well. But it is 6-6. And Tommy Makinson, take a bow.
It's a great finish. But look, Hodgson, there's a perfect pass. And then that was, he took the ball towards the line, did Williams, creates that bit of space. That was a great pass selection over the top. Yeah, and he's playing absolutely sensationally, as Tommy Makinson.
It's great to see those two celebrate together. It's as if one was saying, thanks for that pass, that was a beaut, and the other one saying, thanks for finishing.
Well, that was a Wigan Saints try, wasn't it?
It was. Here's Hill. So 20 seconds of the half remaining. James Graham's back on there just to close this one out.
There's nothing in it, is there? Absolutely nothing in this game.
It's fab. Absolutely fab. Here's Clark dashing away. And that's it. Half-time. All square at 6 points apiece. Referee blows his whistle to take them off. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. Great finish from Tommy Makinson. The pass from George Williams, cancelling out the try from Darlin Watene-Zelezniak, who we're going to hear from right now.
What do you make of that first half? Yeah, there's few areas we were going good at, and a few that were not, but we just got to hold on to the ball and keep building some pressure. It's certainly fierce out there, isn't it? Yeah. What was that, sorry? Certainly fierce out there between you two. Yeah, there's a lot of passion in the game, and it's good. That's what football's all about. It's a tough game, and yeah, love it. Thanks for your time, mate. All right, thanks, guys.
Is it ever fierce out there? It is brutal and intense, and it is sensational Test match rugby, Brian.
It's a cracking game, isn't it? We've had everything. We've had a little bit of nervous at the start and pushing and shoving, and that's exploding into really rubbing each other's ribs. They're smashing each other, their skill levels. Now they've got together. We've seen some terrific football from both sides. They're kicking game. This is a pleasure, this game. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, big physical Test match. I thought New Zealand's intent was there from the start with Bromwich's pressure on Tompkins, and that physically set the tone for the game. Ultimately, actually, the Kiwis have, I think, executed very well. The kicking game's been excellent, but England have just hung in there.
163 tackles made by the English, 146 tackles by New Zealand. Missed tackles are fairly even as well. What we don't have on there actually is total metres gained, and England were way behind Robbie at one stage, and now actually England are up to 573 and the Kiwis on 597, which highlights how England got back into it in the second part of that first half.
Definitely, I think it's a reflection of last week also. New Zealand came out of the gates like a house on fire and playing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but England grabbed the back end of the first game in the first half in the first game, just like what we've seen there. They've been able to grab that structure once again, actually fight fire with fire, get physical with New Zealand also, and then it's eventuated in points right there in the back end of the half.
Brian, take us through the Tommy Makinson try, because I know you're massively impressed with the role of George Williams, isn't it?
Well, they shifted the ball real, but this is the first time they nailed their skill. Tompkins with the long ball and Hodgson in at the middle being able to play, but Williams digs right into the line, which keeps the winger attractive and gives Makinson the space for him to go over the top. We'll see here the width of the pass and the quality of the skills a whole lot better. Then some play at the middle, Williams biting into the line for the finish.
One of the big differences here is Josh Hodgson's squareness. Catches the ball, really squares this Kiwi line up. And then will you give Tommy Makinson, I'll tell you from playing with him, a ball in that situation, there's nobody better in the world at finishing those tries. And that's just a beautiful piece of timing for England, wasn't it?
bit of a telltale sign of New Zealand's defence. They're tackling in 2s, 3s and 4s. What happens to your defensive line? It sucks in, and England capitalised on that. New Zealand were too tight.
John has mentioned that he plays or has played with Tommy Makerson. The interesting thing that happens is every time Tommy Makerson gets smashed or puts his body on the line, three of us up here wins, one of us laughs.
Yes.
And you're laughing every time he gets battered.
Well, yours seems to be laughing now. So, no, well, look, I play with him. I love the kid. I absolutely love anybody who knows him knows he's infectious. But Tommy gets a lot of credit for finishing tries, and he gets a lot of credit for, you know, those flamboyant finishes. But playing with him week on week, this is the thing that you really value about him. There's a real second effort from him. Most players could give up there. It's a big tackle, that, in a test match. It's a huge tackle. And he didn't just do one, there was a number of them. Tackles he's not allowed, really, or entitled to make. Proctor, a big man. Tommy Makerson stopped him dead in his tracks. So I think we've got to be conscious in rugby league. We talk a lot about the attacking side of the game, and Tommy gets credit for that, which is right. But defensively today, particularly, he's been exquisite.
I cannot express enough how vital that is to a team anyway. I mean, we've seen his ball carrying exploits where he's getting put on his backside. And he gets walloped by this Nikorima, or Johnson just times it perfectly well. Even on his catching game here, bang, he's got the game. What's he going to do next? I've got a 20-metre restart here. I'm going to get his team rolling forward.
We spoke before the game that the Kiwis hadn't done the homework. I actually think they have, because they kicked the ball high to him and they're trying to get Tommy Makerson in his most vulnerable position. But they haven't executed the kicks last week as well as they have this week. Tommy is an exceptional player who's really thriving in this international
Just
side.
on how he stopped Proctor, can you give me any insight into how, as a player, you do that?
Yeah, you take a big swallow.
You understand this is not coming from experience, don't you?
And hope for the
No,
best.
I did it a few times, but I just took a big step and just hope for the best. But look,
No, you didn't.
He doesn't come up with those two tackles in the opening 20 minutes of that game, then we're looking at a scoreline of 18 points to 2 with New Zealand in a physical dominant part. That is massive plays. We make fun of wingers calling them muscling linesmen, but there you see he's earning his butter.
Did England not learn from last week in New Zealand's opening try?
Well, I think last week affected England in some way, because if we look at the scrum play that led to a try, and this is in last week's test match, Bateman gets burned by the speed of the Kiwis, and Zelezniak takes the advantage of the space. Now you can see Tompkins is not sure whether John Bateman's going to get there. He holds his ground, eventually comes up with nobody. Now, if we flick on to this week, this is where we'll see the influence of that, in my opinion. Tompkins, almost paranoid that he's not going to make it. A really smart line from Watini Zelezniak to flatten up and take advantage of how tight Tompkins was. It's one step, he's one step too tight. Zelezniak realises that being flat's an advantage. It doesn't give Tompkins time. And that is a great piece of fullback depth play, and also really showing that they have done the homework.
Absolutely done the homework there. Sam takes a step in, which makes it too difficult for him to get back out in relation to speed, and I agree with John in relation to they've looked at that. Michael Maguire's thought we've got some mileage in respect of that play, but I think England have got better as the game's gone on.
From that point of view, if you're in the defensive line, you've got to have confidence on your inside player. Bateman had Isaac Liu there running that good line. Tompkins has just got to come up with a better play. He's got to recognise that the player's coming out the back, and he's got to go to his man.
What happens is that you watch video all week, and he'll have been watching all week. Bateman get beat for speed, and maybe Wayne would have been saying, look, well, if he gets beat for speed, you're going to have to come up with something. And I think that's just in your mind as a player. Going into this game, he's thinking, well, John Bateman might get beat for speed on the inside. I might have to come up with a decision. The ultimate thing is you can't second guess anything in rugby league or it catches you out, and it just caught Sam in just the wrong position. I will say this, a great piece of attacking play from New Zealand, and a great set the tone, I thought, for them in attack.
There was a criticism last week that maybe it wasn't buzzing, it didn't have a great atmosphere about it, and that can't be levelled today.
Oh no.
And I know crowd and players have to work in sync, certainly, but the brutal intensity, the big hits, some of them maybe slightly illegal, but it has created fine lines, exactly. It has created a fantastic atmosphere.
Look, you could see from the get-go that New Zealand were still hurting from what happened in the 80 minutes last week. New Zealand wanted to come out, put a physical presence and stamp on this game. One of the problems with that, though, when you have that mindset and you go and you burn a lot of energy very early on. Brandon Smith was a big player for New Zealand coming into this game, both defensively and when he gets the ball in his hand. He's run out of energy, sort of 25-minute mark. He's got to be replaced with Kenneth Bromwich. And at that point there, you don't have an out-and-out hooker playing in that role.
I don't think England
have
executed their skill as well as they could offensively, and I think there's a lot of mileage there in exploiting that aggressive New Zealand defence. I think they got it right towards the back end of that first half, and they looked a whole lot better team.
Okay. Obviously, there is no Callum Watkins for England today. The Leeds Rhinos player has got a knee injury at the moment. I think we all kind of get an idea about what it entails to come back from a physical injury in any kind of sport. However, dealing with mental health problems, well, that's a whole different issue.
It's obviously fantastic being part of a fantastic team, so you go through plenty of highs, but there has been lows, definitely, and especially being on the field and then off it as well. I remember 2015, like my mental state wasn't the best. I really struggled in terms of my home life, but on the field it was completely different. I probably had the best season that I had, and it was a strange feeling really. I was really, at breaking point. A lot of people that expect you to perform to the best that you can on the field, but a lot of people don't know the person that you are. The sport is massive in terms of trying to tell people open up, and it was something that I needed to do, and it was the best thing that I did. It was always going to be hard. I was always in denial that there was nothing wrong with me. I believed that it was nothing.
Here's Watkins! Callum Watkins!
Sport is a fantastic thing, but being at home and family and being happy is the most important thing.
And we thank Callum for talking to us about his issues. Rugby League has taken a big lead on mental health issues.
Well, it has. We're a macho sport. We've got this sort of chest-beating mentality. And if we, as players and as coaches and as broadcasters, whatever, if we can talk about our feelings, the ultimate message here is to set the example for everyday men. I think suicide's the biggest killer of men under 25 in this country and around the world, in fact. So, look, talking about if Callum Watkins can come out and talk about how he feels, this is for the everyday man on the street, because depression is killing young men and we need to address it, and good on Callum for coming out. A lot of people suffer with it, and Rugby League, through State of Mind, the charity, and through other initiatives, and actually welfare officers at each club are well placed, but this is for the everyday man who doesn't have those resources. So Callum coming out to set an example to him.
Yeah, exemplary. And I think we see that regularly in Rugby League. We're kind of trendsetters in breaking ground like that. It's been around for 8, 9, 10 years, the State of Mind campaign in relation to helping people, particularly players that have difficulties. But I reflect on what John says again. It's for everybody to pay attention to that kind of issue.
Let me give you some more details if you need any help at all. Talking about your own mental health. BBC Action Line. There is a website, as you can see, bbc.co.uk/Action Line. There is a number there that you can ring. It is open 24 hours a day. All calls are free. The number 08000 155 998. 08000 155 998. If you are suffering, please talk to someone. Let's go down to the touchline here at Anfield and hear from a man who isn't involved today because of injury. Sean O'Loughlin is with Tanya.
Sean, you've just come from the dressing room. What's the mood in there after the first half?
I think the boys happy to go in and get that score at the end. It's parts of the game I think they want to be better at, but there's some good efforts out there. I thought the forwards were fantastic and do nice plays at the end. I think we just need a little bit more time with the ball in hand in good field position.
It is so ferocious out there. Can you get caught up in that a little bit and almost be going for it too much?
I thought the Kiwis come out of the box really strong, and it probably took us 20 minutes to get a foothold back in the game from that. But the emotions are high. It's a big occasion, big stadium to play at, so the emotions are high. But I think we just need to settle into our game a little bit more than we did do at the start and start to play a little bit more.
Is that one of the things that this England team has got better at, though, that they are patient, they can hold on for that bit when the storm is coming at them?
Yeah, we was under a lot of pressure at the start, and I think to only concede one try, we did all right with that, and then absorb some of that pressure, bounce back with a try towards the end and go in all square. I think the Kiwis would have probably thought they had the better of that half, but we've gone in all square, so we're reasonably happy with that.
Thanks for your time, Sean.
Cheers, thank you.
Brian, am I the only one that spotted a little smile on his face when Tanya said, is there a danger that you can get carried away with the intensity of those kind of games? I thought he gave a little smile and then maybe gave a slightly different answer to what I was expecting.
Yeah, I think he nearly made a huge faux pas. I think he was talking about fireworks and bonfire night is what he was going to talk about. But it was... He reflected really well, didn't he? I think England will be delighted with the way they finished the first half, that they withstood all that pressure and have come out, in my mind, on the top side if they organise their skill.
Yeah, pressure's a word, isn't it? Michael Maguire waxed on about it. The team that can apply the most pressure in the second half will win.
What do New Zealand need to do very quickly?
Very much more of what they've been doing, but now a few more set plays.
OK, so New Zealand are back out. England are on their way out. We're going to show you what happened in the first half. If you missed it, you might want to grab a cushion for some of these hits.
Here comes the captain and fullback, Watini Zelezniak. The offload is great, and I think they might have squeezed this one over. Don't try. Oh, what the hit! Tosses up for Makinson! What a try! Tommy Makinson! Sets it up fantastic, doesn't it, for this second half? 6-6 the score. To remind you the context of this game, the second test, England win. It's their series. Third match to come at Ellen Road next week at Leeds. That's going to be a seller, we reckon. And if New Zealand can get their heads in front in this second half, then it might be a decider. Here we go, second half underway. Issa Masters lifts it high. England get the first touch. This crowd is pretty animated here today at Anfield, pretty lifted by events they've seen so far, and rightly so, John Keir.
This atmosphere has been fantastic, it really has, and I think the players have put on a show that's you know, on par with the atmosphere. They've helped generate that, because you've seen some of the collisions, you've seen some of the skill, and you've seen some bloody mindedness where they just want to succeed. It's tremendous.
And Jonathan Davis, as a neutral up here as the Welshman, what are you hoping to see in this second half?
Well, I'd like to see a couple of tries, but I think the test match has been brilliant. Defences have been absolutely solid, and the kicking game has been good. But as Robbie said, a few more set plays and creativity. But it's just been a ferocious, first half of Test rugby.
Well, there's tackle 5 in this opening set, so England inside New Zealand territory. Tompkins with a kick across field. Again, it's just drawing the fullback Watini Zelezniak forward, but again a good take by him, and a physical challenge by him as well once he had taken it. And here's Masters to carry it back. 2 tackles gone for New Zealand in this opening set.
They'll be really happy to be in the field position. They are 10 metres away from the halfway line with half a set to go. And it's the 3/4 who've got them there.
Yeah, we were talking half-time, John. I think, you mentioned Brandon Smith. With him, when he's on the field, they look a totally different side.
Yeah, they just look quicker, don't they, from out of dummy half and more organised.
Masters pick up and will have a dart. Up towards the 20, flicks it away. New Zealand keeping it alive well. Tapau pulls it towards that right-hand side. Fisher-Harris back to Proctor. Proctor, little untidy, but it's still alive. It's still a threat here from the Kiwis.
They have to win this game. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Bromwich. Nikorima throws it wide. Oh, Masters knocks it on. And that is relief for England, who'll get it back from the handover.
Just took his eye off the ball there, Masters.
Thanks, mate.
I think you have to compliment Oliver Gildart here as well.
Yeah.
He was up there, he was putting him under pressure as he received that ball.
Yep, hold, yeah, 0.
Congratulations, by the way, to the French, who have qualified for the next World Cup 2021 on these shores, of course. Their victory yesterday against Ireland confirming that they will be in the World Cup, and John Keir's Welsh side winning against Scotland on Friday night means that they have a one-off game against, essentially now, a one-off game against Ireland next week for them to qualify for the World Cup as well.
Yeah,
so you've got a second chance as well.
It's exciting, isn't it? But not at the minute as exciting as what we're seeing out there. It's a tremendous game of rugby league, and both teams fully committed.
Here's Williams.
Last
A
tackle,
little Kiwi
Kenny,
trap.
Marcus square, Leeson. Go, last.
So let's play. Hodgson drilling it towards touchline. He had one intention with that, and that was for the ball to go out of play. So the Kiwis get it back 10 metres out.
I'd like to see George Williams running at this Kiwi defence. He looks very, very dangerous, and he looks really excited. You know, he's enjoying the first half.
Yes, mate. Thank you.
So head and feed here for New Zealand. Let's go down to the touchline.
Make sure you
in just a second. Not yet, I'm being told. Head and feed for New Zealand here.
Elliot, until we get it in there, mate. It's got to get to the hookers first. Just keep your feet on the ground till the ball's in there. Heads in the back, John. Wait for the out call. 2 hands, Sean, please.
England's first appearance today at Anfield, by the way. New Zealand's second. They played here in the Four Nations a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Four Nations final.
Let up now,
I think that day was defined by a masterclass
one.
from Cameron Smith, wasn't it? Just putting pressure on with his sixth
keep
level
holding,
kicking.
James. Go 2, good. 2.
Different game here today.
Very different.
Josh,
We haven't seen much of Sean Johnson yet. You know,
Josh. Go 3.
Don't attempt fate, but he has been very quiet. He hasn't run with the ball much.
Held, release.
His kicking game's been good, though, hasn't it, Johnson?
Yeah.
Taken in here by Armour, who's kept it alive, and New Zealand again, a little threat, and here comes Martini Zalesniak bursting through. He's got a man to his right-hand side, Johnson, but he goes left, and the pass away, and Mamalo will finish in the corner. A burst of electricity from the men in black, and the try sees them back in the lead.
Well, already I think New Zealand have shown their hand. A little tweaking from Michael Maguire, perhaps at half-time, the New Zealand coach. Already they've offloaded the ball a couple of 3 times, and that's what opened up the England defence. It was a bit of a broken field defence there from an offload, and they took full advantage of that, did Martin Zalesniak.
He's special, this kid, isn't he? He is special. Just watch.
It's
take
the
the ball
offload, isn't
in.
it?
Yeah, there's the offload. He reads it. Nicarima, just watch again. Gets on the outside, drags a defender in Bateman, and he's there. He's in the line. He's scanning. McGilvery's got to come in. That's a beautiful patch with great supporting lines. Just watch. Take it in. It's the offload. Nicarima then targets a guy, stands him up, pulls Bateman in. Lovely short ball, and he's away. Afterburners. Holds ball in both hands. He connects all the back 2 for England. That's a brilliant try, John.
That's a quality rugby league try. First of all, the offload. Secondly, how he engaged Marcus Nicarima. Then look at the composure of the fullback, scanning all the time, looking inside and outside of him, and eventually picks the right pass to Malmo, and a great try. Great try.
Nicarima is so dangerous, and this guy reads him so well. Darling Watene Zalesniak, brilliant player.
And we'll say it again, only 23 years of age, Watene Zalesniak. I mean, that is incredible maturity.
He's a pleasure to watch, you know. He's just his running angles, his speed, his awareness, and also his attitude.
There's Johnson from the touchline. Stride in, England fans behind him. Daring to look. This to give his side a 6-point lead. That looks a good kick. That looks a terrific kick. Couldn't have been any better, could it? Right over the black dot.
His kicking has been brilliant of 2 tests.
Yeah, he'll be very satisfied there, Michael Maguire, the New Zealand head coach, with the start both to the first half and especially the second half. And it would be interesting to see if they maintain that little strategy, Jonathan, where they promoted the ball with offloads in the collision.
That's what they did, isn't it? And they had Nicarima running at the bigger men in the middle of the field.
Well, how's that try gone down in the Kiwi camp? Let's hear from Daryl Halligan, who's with Tanya.
Yeah, former playing great, but now the kicking coach. You were chuffed with that kick from Sean Johnson, weren't you?
Yeah, did pretty well, didn't he? There was a lot of, as you'd expect, coaching talk in the sheds at half-time. Madge wanted them to actually push up and work for each other and find some room around the ruck. And then they had 3 offloads in the first set of 6, and then followed by a little bit of good ball playing from Nicarima and to Zalesniak, who's got great energy, and Ken Looms up on the end of it to score a nice try. So great start for the Kiwis.
Thanks for your time, Daryl. As ever.
Cheers.
Another offload.
Well, it's great. This good hands here and popped over the top.
Backwards.
And Gildock got a really important touch there to knock it back.
He did.
And Whitehead picks it up.
Yeah, if that would have gone to
Connor, sorry, got the touch.
If it had gone to New Zealand hand, there was a lot of space in front of them, but England rescued it.
It definitely more expansive in the second half, looking for the burst, then the offload. You know, it's a dangerous strategy.
Hill will cart it in. Eventually the referee says Hill. So we'll play it now, and out it comes to Tompkins, and Tompkins skipping in the lane and almost getting through. Kenny Bromwich grabbed hold of his ankles. Bateman, one of those jagged runs of his again. Now it's Lomax picking up off the floor. Nikorima's got him.
Last tackle short, make it.
1 to go.
Hold.
Clark. He's had a bit of a scan both ways. Goes to Hodgson. Hodgson to Williams. The kick, the chase. They're after it, but it's going to be cleaned up.
Tackle 1.
Cleaned up.
Marcus.
Yeah, but it was a good set that from England. There was a ball movement, there was offloads themselves.
It's a good chance here for England to get stuck into the New Zealand forwards now. Tendon in the corner.
And the crowd's really getting with them, aren't they? But that's a great carry.
Great carry up the middle there.
Fisher-Harris down on the 20. Now it comes to Masters, who takes it on another good strider too. He's lost the ball. The referee says stolen. Bateman is not happy with something.
Something's happened there because Bateman's reacted very, very aggressively. He's got to keep his cool.
No more.
Bateman was keen to take on the entire Kiwi pack there.
James, Dallin. James.
See what happens here now.
Yeah, I know.
That's a steal.
I think that's a harsh call.
It's how we started the first half.
That's a harsh call.
James, the message is we're back on that footing. No more.
Yep.
Here we are. Time on.
I mean, the ball carrier's got a responsibility. When he goes into the collision, he's got a responsibility to look after the ball.
Yep.
Johnson sticks it out of play.
Make
New Zealand will start this set of 6, 30 metres from the English line. Manu and now Proctor.
Okay. Up there, James. Chris, hold Sam.
Bromwich.
Hold. Go 1.
Inside for Leeson Armagh.
Hold James. Hold. Go 2. What's the
England player left on the floor. Is that Clark, who's stayed down?
Yeah, took a big hit, didn't he? Made the tackle.
In the meantime, the Kiwis look to push on this left-hand side with Liu. It's another penalty.
Take this, definitely.
Definitely. It extends it to a 2-score lead.
Yep.
And, as you've mentioned, the way that Johnson's kicking, Jonathan, I mean, it really will fancy 2 points.
I can't stop every time the bloke goes to the
James Graham just asking there why the referee hadn't stopped the game earlier because Clark was down injured. But if he's not interfering with play, the referees are very reluctant to stop the game. Unless it's a head injury.
That was the whole philosophy of bringing physios on whilst the game was progressing, rather than stopping it, then bringing the physio on. So he's doing the right thing as a referee.
Yeah, I think he just got his head in the wrong position there. Clark, he was the tackler, not the ball carrier, so he's got his head in the wrong position. He'll have to come off now for an assessment.
Hey, Liam, can you just drift in and hold the line in the mark?
I think it's his ribs, isn't it?
I'm not sure, you know.
But as you mentioned, Jonathan, technically from a tackling point of view, he's just in the wrong position. But
plenty of big hits today in this game.
Certainly have been.
Fresh bang-up approach. Big tackles. That was a try saver from Tommy. Now you notice that most of these are involving Tommy Makinson. Luke Thompson is St Helens teammate. Oh, and there's another one when Johnson got the shoulder in the right place at the right time.
What I love about Tommy Makinson, though, the harder you hit him, the harder he runs.
Yeah, I think this is a blow for England because Clark is definitely in serious pain here.
Yes, his ribs, isn't it?
Yeah, he's popped a cartilage or something, hasn't he?
Yeah. He ain't coming back. Not from that.
And that's a blow for England because he adds something different, doesn't he? At the latter stage of each half.
Well, he adds that, but he also allows Hodgson to, you know, ball play a little in that middle channel, which was so important in England's try.
So Thompson comes back on, and in the meantime, New Zealand, as expected, have elected to take the kick for goal. Red button for him coming up afterwards. to remind you. And that third test next week, 3 o'clock kickoff, 3 o'clock on air, I should say, BBC Two. And the podcast, the BBC Rugby League podcast, available on Monday. Here's Johnson. 9 minutes into the second half to give his side an 8-point lead. So England now have to score twice to push their noses ahead from this position. Kiwis take not a stranglehold on the game, but certainly a firm grip.
Yeah,
several.
They'll be really happy now, New Zealand, obviously 2 scores in front. And as we've seen, it's a pretty difficult defence to penetrate, but plenty to play for. 30 minutes left. High quality in the first 50 minutes.
New Zealand looking to cart it away from their own end here. In their own field, Fisher-Harris. With his debut for New Zealand, Fisher-Harris in that horror game for the Kiwis a couple of years ago when they drew at Workington against St Helens. That ball's come free, has it? No, it's not. It's been took the hard here. England trying to get in their faces. 2 tackles to go, still inside their own half. Johnson back to Proctor.
Adam Milner out there now, isn't he, as well, trying to add a bit of enthusiasm and zest to this England side.
Little chip and a chase here, and Lomax is going to get there easily first. There's a big chip and a chase.
Yeah, good protection by the English players there. Didn't cross anyone, just kept their line, blocked the runners.
Meckinson again, and he's left a Kiwi on the floor there in taking that forward. And here's McGilvray. Hodgson out of dummy half. Gildart. It's a bit of a step on as he hits the line.
Well done, the 3 quarters there. Meckinson, McGilvray, Gildart taking the team up to halfway line.
And they're working this short side through Hodgson. 1 tackle to go in the set. Tompkins. Now Williams just steeples it high. Ball's end over end. The chase is on. Can England get there? Yes, Connor gets a hand to it. Almost falls for Meckinson. But New Zealand hoover it up and have possession back through Jordan Rapiner.
Great kick again by George Williams on the button. Hangs it up there for his players to get there.
That's a good end, that, because that stresses the defence as that when it's a contest like that.
Yeah, and Connor did exceptionally well there.
Mamala.
Work out of there now, George. Hold.
Ken Mamala.
Go 3. 3, thanks, mate.
Tapau.
Adam off the ball. Hold John.
I think he's been linked with a move to the Roosters, hasn't he, next year? Martin Tapau. Not sure if there's been any movement on that story in the last couple of days. Manu, 5 metres inside his own half. New Zealand likely to finish with a kick here. Johnston. Here he is again, Meckinson. And he was run over there by Rapiner almost before he caught the ball.
He held his run well there, John.
Yeah, it was a great hang time from the kick there, wasn't it, from Sean Johnson.
He knows what's coming here. Just finds the ground. Here's McGilvray. McGilvray trying to force his way through, and he's up to the 20-metre mark and beyond, and looking for the offload. No, he doesn't. The ball's gone to ground. The referee says play on, and England still offering a threat, albeit in their own 20 here. Williams goes down. Stefan Ratchford's down on the sidelines. He's with Tanya.
Steph, what do England need to do to get back into this now? Because there's 2 scores between them.
I think at the start of the second half, I think with too many penalties at the moment, and you know, they're offloading a lot, which is killing us and putting us on the back foot. So we need to, you know, stop the offloads, which will go, you know, a big way to it, but also cut out the needless penalties.
Cheers, Steph.
Thank you.
6th tackle coming up. Tompkins. Oh, he's taken late there, and retribution is swift from the England players. The referee says play on. There's nobody up there. Nobody's bothering because the England players are all fighting in the background. In the meantime, Meckinson picks it up, and now they've all thought, hang on, there's a match here, so we'll stop fighting, we'll start playing again. And the referee's having none of that. Now he'll stop the game. Well, the kick went high. England players thought the tackle was late.
Kevin!
And now this This is happening again now.
Yeah, we're going the penalty on the kicker. Way to go, Kevin. Back it up.
Penalty for England.
Okay. Dallin.
Have a look at this.
It's a late shot on Tompkins, isn't it?
Oh, high. Wasn't he?
High and late.
Yeah. But I mean, the referee's saying play on here, and there's only 4 or 5 England players actually switched on.
But England had the ball, so if they score, it's advantage, isn't it?
And suddenly they realise what's going on. Everyone's trying to scurry back into position.
It's not high. He's off the ground.
It's late.
Yeah, it's late. It's not too bad, that is. Yeah, he was off the ground.
Two blokes are in the middle of it are going to the bin.
Why if we have another one of them, though? They're getting a bit warning about that, because that's 2 on the bounce now. We've not done one.
I'll deal with that, Josh, but you need to take that back, because the next time we have that, they're going.
Penalty at England.
It won't be quick, though.
Where the ball lands, where the ball finished.
Is feisty the right
word
for that description?
Yeah, why not? It's as good as any other, John.
Yeah. A feisty little incident.
A feisty Fisher Harris.
Okay.
Penalty England where the ball came to finish at the end of that. And that's why the penalty is just about 10 metres away.
Will you take the goal here, John?
Well, England haven't been in the red zone of the Kiwis, and
the crowd's behind them now, isn't it?
They're lifting the volume. Hodgson out of dummy half. Thompson wants it. Eager for a big thrusting run. Put down 5 away. Hodgson delivers the pass to that left-hand side. Williams gets the short ball away. Whitehead's going nowhere. Tackle from Kenny Bromwich. Fans are getting impatient. Here's Thompson. Not sure that ball was meant for him, but he grabbed it.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
They're inching closer, but they're running out of tackles.
Yeah,
Hodgson's throwing the dummy. Williams goes right. Tompkins with a big right-footed step, balls it back to Williams. New Zealand defenders all over them. And that is a huge slice of luck for England. Joey Manu knocking on when it might have been, had it stuck, him sailing under the sticks 70 yards away. Instead, England get another set here.
That could have been a test match over. He gets the offload in. I thought he had it. If he catch it, he is gone.
If he catches it, that's a test match. It is. But fortunately for the guys in white, he hasn't. And they can have another set 25 metres from the New Zealand line. So... you know, going back, Jonathan, to what you said, should have taken the 2, perhaps he should now.
Yeah, you got to score twice, haven't you? But as you said, John, they had that possession.
Essen Masters just getting a bit of treatment, which is why the game's being held up here before the scrum can be set.
Hit in, James. Hit in, Josh.
Here we go. England, 25 metres away.
He's struggling, actually. I tell you, Masters is struggling. They've got to try and target Masters. Left centre for New Zealand.
Here it comes, Tompkins.
He's struggling to get in the line.
Bateman on a typical run from him. Williams juggles with the ball, so runs it back the other way. New Zealand advance. Masters is running with real labour as he gets back in the line. England have sensed that, have they? Yes, they have. They go that way now. Bateman runs it in hard. 10 metres out with the offload. Gildart's on the end of it. Still plenty of time to go. Williams, Tompkins, back to Lomax. Lomax takes on the line. Great hands, absolutely fantastic hands from Connor. And the finish at the end. Tommy Makinson points at his man and said, "You made that for me. All I had to do was put it down." And England are right back in the Test match.
Yeah, they set it up well there, didn't they? Couple of tries and they got their half-backs in there. Nicarima, I think, was caught. And then it's beautiful hands. Connor, what a pass this is. Easy running for Makinson.
Execution, Jonathan, beautiful. Was absolutely first class on that left edge. And it wasn't just Connor, it was this obviously is the scrum because the tilted chance, there's the error from New Zealand. But just watch this. It's Johnny Lomax. He really puts on the burners and he panics the two-in defender, and that's what gives that bit of space for Connor's absolute clinical skill.
Yeah,
beautiful work from Lomax.
It's Johnson who gets caught a little bit then, and he's got to make a decision, hasn't he? That's a beautiful ball by Connor.
Yeah, it just makes the centre just turn in, does Lomax. Really puts his foot down, the centre just turns in. That hesitation allows the space for Connor to execute an in and out pass. Tremendous try.
He didn't need to come in, did he, Rapana there? He didn't need to come in, but the pass from this guy was beautiful.
We know his hands are magic, but what about the boot here? Can he stick this over and bring the game back to within 2 points? He hangs it. Oh, it's just fallen the wrong side of the crossbar. But 10 points to England, 14 to New Zealand. We've got 20-odd minutes to go, and they are going to be electrifying.
They're going to be electric, and look at the quality of these tries. They're sensational. I think Makers' 2 tries have been outstanding. The New Zealand tries have. It should be difficult to score in test matches. It is difficult unless your skill is of the highest quality.
Make sure you run, Jordan. Stay behind it, Joseph.
Stay early here, Ken.
Hands up, who'd have had Jake Connor as England's left centre at the start of this last season. He's had a great year, but he's capping it with a wonderful performance here tonight.
This is a great test match.
Great test match, yeah.
It really is.
Whitehead. Stoutly done. Hodgson operating out of dummy half now. Oh, and here's Williams having a little scoot.
Yeah, tails it up now with England, aren't they?
Connor. Hodgson. Thompson. He knows no other way. Take it in ferociously. I think there might have been a chant of England there as well from the fans. Bateman now. Good carry by him.
They've made some yards, haven't they, England, from this set? They really have.
Tomkins puts it high. Makerson searching a hat-trick, but it's spilled away. Now, had he caught that clean, Rapana, it's a tap back on the 20. His fumble has just invited England back into it again.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult. It's over the shoulder. He's just looking at where the in goal is. So if he catches it, he knows it's a tap, but no, he just loses it.
Well, I think, Jonathan, he's rattled, and I think the New Zealand team are rattled at this moment in time. That wasn't the best kick. Again, there's pressure on Tomkins that kicks the ball. Wasn't the best kick because it's Indian goal area, and for a winger at this level, that should be manna from heaven. It should have been reeled in, tap 20. It's a real let-off for England.
Make sure you keep behind it. Time you run here, Hassan.
Momentum now totally with England.
All things being equal, there's a wave of white about to wash up towards that Kiwi line again. First job, take it safely, done. Second job, drive it in, done. Now, what comes next in the next 5?
Set the point up to attack. And that's what Milner's doing.
In only his second England appearance. Hodgson. Thompson. Milner. No touch from him, not a mistake, but it just holds England up temporarily. Hodgson comes down this right side, and Bateman.
Danger.
Again, jagging towards the middle and the left. 2 tackles for England to prise open this Kiwi defence. They're doing it the muscular way. They are doing it through Tom Burgess. Has he got it in? No, the referee says he doesn't think so, but he's not entirely sure.
He says he's lost it, doesn't he?
So he's going to the video replay. We're going to hear from our video referee, Ben Thaler, again.
OK, right, the live call on field is a no try, that the ball is lost. So he's still in possession at that point. He's still in possession at that point. And at that point, now I've lost sight of the ball. So I'm going to need another angle. This is probably a good angle to see. Can't see the ball there. Can't see the ball. Live call on the field is of no try. So still the ball in his possession there, his right hand. The ball is not on the ground. Still not on the ground. I lose the ball completely there. If we just jog that one back, Ken, if we can. Jog this one back slowly. I'll lose that because somebody goes in front of the camera. But if you just go forward now, slowly on this. I've lost the ball completely there. Right, and that way, it's away from his hand on that one. Right, and I've not seen the ball on the ground. Do you have anything else? What about from behind, possibly? Right, the ball is up there, up, and it's lost. And that's the thing, it's been lost. I've got no evidence to overturn the live call of no try, so it's going to be no try and a 20-metre restart.
Well, no try. We always refer to the fact that it's so important what the referee on the field calls, and I think we can be confident in what the referee called there because he was in a brilliant position.
His positioning was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was just a couple of metres away from the action there, and he called it.
Because he's tried to ground it and he hasn't retained possession. So it's a lost ball.
Lost ball, knock on, and it's a tap back on the 20.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Wait, Brennan. All set.
I think
Go, zero coming.
That's where I think they've got a huge advantage, England. Their forward pack, you know, if they can get them running at in the 10-metre area, it's just a phenomenal ball carriers.
Well, they've really got the wind in the sail, haven't they, the England side? So this is the storm New Zealand are having to weather. And interestingly, they've sent Brandon Smith back out there with his right knee really heavily strapped.
He's had a lot of strapping in the last 2 games, hasn't he, Brandon Smith? Oh, and there's a problem here. Martini Zelezniak.
Josh, just get Oliver and Sam on your right to hold.
He's okay. So he's okay. The physio just raised his arm there to say he's okay.
2. Yeah, well, mate,
look at that.
My rule in live was that he tried to ground it and it comes away.
A grip around the ear that he wasn't enjoying.
Yeah, I think it's a grip on the eye as well, which is not nice. Just got to be careful of keeping the hands away from the eye. Look, that's too close to the eye there for me.
I think that's why there's the reaction from Martini Zelezniak.
That'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. See what they think of that.
Thanks. Just make sure you push up at market, don't drift back.
They might have a sneaky peek at that, mightn't they? The disciplinary this week. George Burgess. The referee on the field is happy just to let the game roll on.
Hang on, down. Mate, not ready to start. Ben, if I'm doing that, I'm penalising. Wait. Okay.
Yeah, I'm certain that there'll be the discipline have a real good look at that before next week's game.
Josh! He's 10.
But New Zealand have rolled back inside English territory again now with tackles in the back, leading as they do still by those 4 points. Try here for them settles Kiwi nerves.
Go 10 there.
Bromwich, Jesse Bromwich.
Last tackle, work out of there, George.
1 tackle to go, 1 play to go. Smith to Johnson. Johnson's chip. McGilvray underneath it. That's a very, very easy catch for McGilvray.
I think it's poor communication there. Mamalo, you know, was so far back. I think he's expecting the pass. So it's an easy take.
It was an easy take. I'm with you on with that, Jonathan. But also, from a New Zealand perspective, you'll be happy to sit McGilvray in the corner on tackle 1.
What are the nerves in the England camp at the moment? Let's find out. Richie Myler's down there with Tanya.
How nervous are you, Richie, at this point?
Yeah, pretty nervous. Obviously, we had a lot of momentum about 5 minutes ago, but it seems to have gone a bit stale, the game, a little bit flat, but hopefully we can get some plays together now as we're trying to move it. I think when Johnny Lomax's got ball in his hand, we look deadly, so I think they just need to get the ball to him as much as possible.
Cheers, Richie.
Great little flick there from Connor to Burgess. Tom Burgess picks up off the bounce. Last play, Tompkins. Depth and height. Martini Zelezniak underneath with a catch. Now Marlow runs back with intent.
Marcus,
Well, for me, Dave, you know, the more energised team is the England team. They really are, because some of these New Zealand players are struggling getting behind the ball. And England just have a spring in the step.
Oh, Rapana has lost it in the tackle, and Thompson will gather it back.
Early in the tackle count. Good opportunity for England now.
Gildart. Here's Hodgson. Thompson's winding himself up. Here he comes. What have you got? He asks every time he has the ball. What have you got? Well, they stop him that time. Hodgson again. Looks left. Dummies to one. Burgess passes to another. This is George, who's up and plays. Hodgson, Williams.
Well, England certainly look the
It's an
sharper.
offload. Lomax has caught it well. Sorry, John.
Yeah, they certainly look the sharper now, both sides.
Hodgson. They go blind quickly. Whitehead with a pass away. Connor scores the try. It's all level again. Boy, does he deserve that moment. And England, wonderful, quick play, quick thinking by Whitehead. And a great finish from Jay Connor.
Really, really clever play there. Really clever. They got the numbers on the short side. It was a decision to go there. And they came up with a try. And it all comes from that error, doesn't it? That New Zealand error, as they were bringing the ball away from their own half. Gave England the field position. And my word, England took full advantage of that. Here's the error. Loose carry for me there.
Yes.
Lost the ball. That gives it fit. Look at that late movement there. Smart play from Whitehead. Just gave Connor. See how he came from behind the ruck. Made it 3-on-2. And Connor, over he goes to the corner. Real clever dummy half play from Hodgson, from Whitehead, and ultimately from Connor with the spin out of the tackle and plunk over the whitewash.
That's great use of the short side. Running from Acton halfback, Whitehead coming from open to blind side. Joseph Manu was caught in two minds there, and Connor scores a brilliant try for England.
This is a big moment. 15 minutes left to play, so there'll be plenty of moments to come. But England would love to be in the lead. And Connor has the wherewithal to put them there. His try has drawn them level. His kick is good, and it's just hit the post. Just hits the post, and it's 14 points apiece.
Coming to field goal country now, aren't you?
I'll tell you what, we've got a good 15 minutes left. This crowd have been tremendous today.
Yeah.
There's the anguish of Connor, but the crowd have been tremendous. They're really getting behind the England side.
Time off.
More to come.
Yeah, so just process it for us, talk through it.
Seatbelts on.
15 minutes left.
Time your run.
Taken well. Might have had a sense there, Williams, of letting that ball fly out of play on the full, but I don't think it would have gone out on the full, so he made the right judgment in taking the catch. George Burgess to his feet. Here's James Graham, the skipper. Hodgson, the Canberra rake out of dummy half. Thompson blasting it forward.
Well, at this moment in time, Dave, you know, New Zealand can't get the ball. England are just completing.
Well, look at that. England 49 played the balls in their opponent's 20, New Zealand 26. That tells a story of the way the game's going at the moment. Bateman.
Yeah, and I think the England forwards are really getting an upper hand here now.
Gildart putting a step on, and another. Smith drags him in and puts him down. Last play, good quick play the ball. Gives England a bit of an advantage here again. Williams with a kick to the corner. It's on the chase, but Rapana is there. But as we kept saying in the first half, the other way around, look where they're starting from. Close to the line, but this is a great piece of play out of dummy half. Johnson.
Yeah, brilliant dummy.
Rapana. On tackle 1, New Zealand were penned, but on tackle 3, they are almost on the halfway line. It's a great response by them, and they've lost the ball again. The errors creeping up from the men in black.
Well, the last 3 times they've touched the ball, they dropped it over their own in-goal line receiving a kick. They dropped it carrying towards the halfway, and then they've just made an error there. They're trying to play the way out of this test. You have to work your way out to a victory in this test match.
Yeah, forced errors, really coming back to haunt New Zealand. England dominating the forward exchanges.
And there's something about Watene Zelezniak's right here, because I think Bateman's just made a grab at it as well.
Well, Michael Maguire there, just a shake of the head, and he knows if they keep turning possession over, ultimately England will take advantage. And you know, what's the odds on a 1-point drop goal coming up in the next 10 minutes or so?
Here's McGilvray. Tackle 1, Hodgson out of the dummy position, and now Graham on tackle 2, and England inside New Zealand territory. 12 minutes to go. Williams with a pass away, Whitehead. Oh, what a great offload by him. Good stuff, and Lomax is running it on, and here comes Makinson. Oh! Went for the miracle ball down the middle. Went for the miracle ball. It was a forward pass. So New Zealand get away with that. Tommy Makinson puts his head in his hands. Oh, the anguish.
Offload was good again. Created the overlap on the left-hand side.
It's come up with some big plays as Whitehead has it down that left-hand channel, and Lomax again troubling them with the speed. They just couldn't come up with a pass there. Oh, the anguish.
Yeah.
That was the series.
Tell you what, great defensive work by Rapin as well. He just managed to get back, make a tackle on Makinson. There he is.
Well, I'll tell you, New Zealand need to complete a set. They need to get to the end of a set and get some field position, because all the game at the minute, Jonathan, has been to our right-hand side in New Zealand's half, and I'm certain that's what coach Michael Maguire will be sending out there. Get all that ball, go forward, get some field position.
And I think they've got a problem, because Rapin doesn't look as he's going to stay on the field.
Yeah, look at the completed sets, 26 for England, 19 for New Zealand, so the possession dominance has been there, as the field position dominance has as well for England.
There's a possession. 54 England, 46 New Zealand. A hiatus here because of the treatment for Jordan Rapana. Both sides can rev themselves up again here.
Yeah, he's had to make the tackle there. It's a do-or-die job, isn't it, that one on Tommy Makinson. It was a good job there, and put his body on the line, caught with an injury, and so close, a matter of inches, says Johnny Lomax.
You remember Rapana injured his shoulder in the first half going for the try, didn't he? When he extended his arm to go for the try.
Nobody's a change.
Yeah.
George Burgess off, Hill coming on.
And they've sent a lot of traffic down his channel, haven't they?
He's hurting. I think are they trying to put the shoulder back in? Is there?
Well, there's the first injury, wasn't it? And,
yeah.
And obviously he's done another big effort there defensively, and he's no good. Off the field.
So he's off, and Adam Blair is going to be coming on here.
Yes, mate. Thank you.
This is one of the interchanges clearly they haven't planned.
Sorry. You as well, Liam, if you can work up the vision on this first tackle, just be aware that that's when pressure will come on the
Blair
ball.
ready, so they've got a stack of experience to come on. So how do New Zealand reshuffle here?
Yeah, this will be interesting, won't it?
It will, because the forwards on the bench, so the norm tends to be you put an edge second rower out into the centre and the centre onto the wing, but It's a serious injury, isn't it, there for the wingman?
Yeah, big shame for Jordan Rapinoe.
A sporting round of applause as well from the fans behind the posts.
This has given New Zealand a little breather here because they were under the cosh. England were all over them, so just a little bit of composure needing to clear their lines, because now, with the clock, it's where they're going to be playing this game to try and, get a penalty or a field goal. Top goal.
And of course, if it's a draw, New Zealand can only level the series next week at Ellen Road. They can't actually win it. We had a similar situation a few years back when David Waite was the Great Britain coach, I think it was then. And England actually lifted the Baskerville Shield because they were the home team. It seemed a little daft, but we'll probably get an explanation if it does stay at 14 apiece as to how that final test will be worked.
Somebody's going to win this, Dave.
Yeah.
Johnson puts it high. Lomax underneath it.
There's too many good kickers on the field for it to stay like this.
Someone out there is going to come up with the defining moment, believe you me.
How about this fella, Makinson?
Well, he's been a big game.
Hodgson, McGillivray. Just got quietly through a bagload of work again, Jermaine McGillivray. Thompson crashes in. Look for Nikorima, I think, and went, come on, little guy, what have you got? And Nikorima did well, with a little help from Leo. Bateman offloads. Does that so often. Picked up by Hill. Still working hard.
That's a good defence. That's a good defensive set by New Zealand.
Manny the Rock, I think they're trying to get a penalty here, but the referee says play on.
Yeah, I think that's fair as well. You can't milk it.
Williams kick away. A little bit of ins and outs. There are several New Zealand players struggling to get behind the play the ball here. The big fellas, so they'll be relying on their outside backs to gobble up a bit of the yards. There's one of them, Marlow. Masters. Tompkins had a bit of a slap on the back of the head of Momalo though as he got up and ran away. This now is taken in by Liu.
Yeah, Momalo is just more interested in Tompkins there than his supporting his player.
They're a long way out here. They'll be going for a kick to put England under pressure. Johnston runs a little, kicks it high. Makinson underneath it, safely caught, and New Zealand can't do much about that.
I thought they would go for that. I thought they'd compete for that ball there. They just held off a little bit. Makinson hasn't dropped the ball all day.
Well, that's tackle one, isn't it? There is tackle one. That's what they're looking for.
And that's number 3, Dave. Yeah. Just outside the 20.
Lomax.
So you're keeping them away from the danger area, aren't you?
Yeah.
Makinson.
He's had a big game, isn't he, old Lomax in the second half as well.
Yes,
and more of the ball in hand, he's caused problems.
Graham. England reaching the penultimate tackle short of the halfway line. Williams trying to make it a difficult one for New Zealand to deal with, but it's relatively simple now as Ateni Zalesniak offers it off to Momalo.
Good chase there from the big men in the middle, Thompson and Hill.
Great chase, because he caught it on the full, didn't he? So,
and that's good work from Hodgson. They're really investing their energy out there early on in this tackle count defensively.
Yeah, clock is really ticking away now.
He's got through 40 tackles today so far, Josh
He
Hodgson.
has had a big game as well, hasn't he? Oh.
Down the middle.
Just got to be careful
Fisher Harris.
not to jump the line.
Fisher Harris stays down, face down, hurt.
Fisher Harris, tackle 4.
Let's have a look at this. No.
Yeah, just awkward. He fell awkwardly, didn't he? And with a big man like Chris Hill on your back, it's going to hurt. It'll be interesting to see, who will break first at the minute, because both teams are concentrating on not giving the opposition any field position for a pop at a field goal, a drop goal. It has been tremendous, Joss. 40 tackles. That's sensational work, isn't it? And the quality of his play hasn't diminished whatsoever, despite being out there for the full 72.5 minutes.
Fisher Harris is coming off. Bromovich is going on.
Waiting, Sean. Wait for the whistle.
Running out of players here, aren't they, New Zealand?
Yeah.
It's a head injury assessment, isn't it, for that fella? But that'll be him done now for the game, won't it?
Yeah, no time for him to come back, you wouldn't have thought. New Zealand, well, we've seen Sean Johnson break English hearts with drop goals and late scores in the past. But it's going to be England's ball for this next set.
It's a great game, this, isn't it? They're like gunfighters. Who's going to blink first?
Oh, good hit again.
Hodgson out of dummy half. Picks up and collects on McGilvray. Looking for those big yards once again. Faces up to Essen Masters, brushes him off first time. Gets another 10 yards that he possibly shouldn't have had from a New Zealand point of view, but sheer determination took him there. Gildart skips down the middle, bats his uppers, shoulders rain on his ribs. And Hodgson stands and waits.
Ball security is important now, because, you know, they can see the New Zealanders flying into the ball.
Williams to Lomax. Lomax running in hard again, delays the pass. Great quick hands from Connor. Makinson cuts back towards the middle. Tommy Makinson to finish it. Tommy Makinson might just have won the series for England with a hat-trick try. But it's only a might, because the referee wants another look. He's offered it up to the video ref. Tommy Makinson, I think, is saying, I don't know what the problem is. I really don't know what the problem is. So let's have a look what the problem might be. Here's our video ref again, Ben Thaler.
Still in possession. Just jog that back. Really, we're going to have to go really slow here. Still in his possession there. Still in his possession. Still in his possession. Keep it going. Keep it going. And in another angle. There's no clear. And it is really slow. It can go any slower. Live call of a try. Now, is his hand still on the ball? So we're going to slow this down. Has he lost possession? Just jog that back, please. The ball is on the ground at that point. His hand's on it there. Keep it going. There, the fingers are still on and the ball is on the ground. That's a try. That's a try, Jerry.
It's a game of millimetres and measure for measure. It's England's game. Tommy Makinson with a hat-trick. England in the driving seat. Wayne Bennett on the way to a series win. And what a story he's writing today.
Well, again, you know, it's just watch. Lomax has come in. He's caused the problems. Beautiful pass again. He's forced inside because it's checked. But what the finish that is. You said, John, it takes something magical, and that's what's happened.
Well, both tests have been won by great tries, because I think this is the match winner. And it's fantastic, and what a fitting tribute to this guy. He's had a great game, and it's so good that that fella looks to have made the absolute gem of a play to win this test match. Dusts the sideboard down. I think you're going to have a trophy there, Mr. Bennett, to put on it.
Yeah, have a smile there.
He doesn't need to smile. He just needs to inspire and coach, and that's what he's done for this England side. Sam Tomkins taking over the kicking duties here. It's not quite nailed yet, because there will be a response from New Zealand with 5 minutes left to go, but England in the driving seat. Tomkins puts it over, and you suspect from this point on the best New Zealand can hope for is a draw. But England will have to be on their mettle for the 5 minutes that remain.
Well, in both halves, England have finished by far the stronger, haven't they? That will be a concern for the New Zealanders. And you've just sensed as the game's gone on, Jonathan, England have got stronger and stronger, and there was only going to be one winner. And I think 4 tries to 2 is probably a better reflection of the scoreboard.
Short kick, but it's England's ball. New Zealand went for the gamble. They put it all on that short kick, but it's England who have it.
No, you do now. You take the drives up the middle, right, and you go for a drop goal.
I don't even think they need to do that, Jonathan.
Just, you know what, the big forwards that they've got, you know, just seal it.
That right edge of New Zealand is shot because they've had the injury out there. They're not organised. You may see another try yet.
Graham drives it in. Here's Hodgson at dummy half. Big fellas lining up, just run it in as hard as you can will be the call now. Thompson takes it in. Do they set up for a drop goal? Here they go, Tompkins. Charge down, so New Zealand have a chance here. Smith puts it out. 4 minutes to go, they'll get the ball in hand 2-3 times, New Zealand.
He rushed that, though, because he told Graham to take one more drive into the right-hand side, and he was setting himself up, but he went for it early.
New Zealand come out. Their air of desperation is palpable.
The forwards, the English forwards, are absolutely smashing them at the moment, with and without the ball.
Nikorima going left, further left, good pick up from a poor pass. Maumalo going nowhere. All he had to do there was catch the ball because it was poor around his ankles. Now it's taken on by Masters, who's found a way through. Gildart gets back to make the tackle. And helped out there by Lomax as well. Last play for New Zealand. Here they go. Out of dummy half, Kenny Bromwich. Now it's with Johnson. Nikorima rather. Here's Johnson. Johnson's pass to Watene Zelezniak. And in desperation, he's thrown the ball away. And with it, maybe the match. England get the handover 10 from their own line.
What a great piece of defence that was as well, because Masters really did split them there with that great piece of footwork. And England on the back foot, but they came up with it, and it's that man Whitehead's come up with some big plays, hasn't he? But he did really well there, did Williams and Gildart together.
Hard in by Tom Burgess.
What a game this is.
Red button coming up straight after we finished here, of course. McGilvray.
Just show the game again, it's been great.
Oh, the ball's been stolen, penalty. The referee had shouted held. New Zealand desperate for something. Kenny Bromwich steals it, and England get the penalty. It's just a case of finding touch here.
Time off.
They're having a chat. Now the referee's called time off, so a couple of seconds wasted. Sam Tompkins puts it out of play.
Wait for the foot, Adam.
Tell you what, playing Tompkins at 7 was a masterstroke, I thought.
Well, I think Tompkins at 7 certainly worked for Wayne Bennett. Both his centres, you know, the few eyebrows raised when Percival was left out, but the centres have justified their selection.
Well, in both tests.
Yep.
Tom Burgess takes it in. He might have been mindful about an offload at a different stage of a different game, but on that occasion he just took it and took the tackle. Graham.
Kenny, clear it, Marcus square.
Hodgson waits at dummy half.
Go, 3.
2 minutes to go, less than 2 minutes. New Zealand, all things being equal, will get the ball back unless England can force another set here. Bateman, put down. Where's this ball going? To the right-hand side, you feel. Here it comes, Tompkins just belts it out of play. New Zealand will be quick to the scrum.
Well, they're not that quick.
So the man of the match? Man of the match?
I think it's easy, isn't it? I think there have been some great performances. Connor's been good, you know, Zelezniak's good, Hodgson is good, but it's got to be one man, hasn't it? Makinson has been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant winger's performance. Offensively, defensively, under the high ball. I don't think he's made a mistake all afternoon, has he?
Well, there didn't many players score hat-tricks in test matches against New Zealand and Australia, and he's got with a hat-trick against New Zealand, and it should be the man of the match by a country mile.
Yeah. Well, that announcement has just been made at Anfield, and I think it's fair to say it was a popular decision. But there's one set for England to weather again now. New Zealand coming from deep, but here they do come. Now it's taken on by Masters. Masters trying to wrestle away, gets a good offload. Nikorima picks it up. New Zealand now going for everything. Tapau down that right-hand side, takes on Whitehead. Whitehead's got the ball! Oh, what a tackle that is from Elliot Whitehead! Not only to stop his man, but to get the ball off him too.
Well, we've said he's coached some big players as Whitehead, and that's one that's really pleased his coach Wayne Bennett, the team manager Jamie Peacock, and all these fans in here. Great piece of play from Whitehead.
Oh, emotion there. Emotion. Because I think they know now that this is the game. 20 seconds left to play. Not a pass to be seen, I shouldn't imagine, in the moments that remain.
No.
Wayne Bennett off down to the touchline. Hodgson skips it in. They're trying to get the ball back, New Zealand. But the clock ticks down. This is it. That's it! England win the Test Series. Make no mistake, they have beaten a high-quality side in these last two games, and that's because this England side is also high quality. Tommy Makinson, take a bow, but every man who's pulled on an England shirt in the last two matches has been terrific.
Wow, 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 what an 80 minutes of rugby league we've had there. This has been the highest quality. It's been a test match that's had everything, including a stellar performance from the man of the match, Tommy Makinson. This is a high-quality England team, as you've demonstrated. This is an England team that could become world champions in 2 years' time.
Yeah, I think they've got a great chance. You know, they've been a quality New Zealand side. They'll come back in the World Cup, and of course, they have the Aussies. But I think they just showed a lot of composure, a lot of maturity. You know, they completed the sets. Brilliant, brilliant performance.
Right, only one man of the match today, Tommy Makinson with his hat-trick. And he's getting his breath back down there for Tanya to have a chat with.
Tommy, many congratulations, man of the match, but that was a hell of a team performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, we spoke about it all week. Playing for this England badge is pretty emotional, honestly. And to pull the shirt on with these lads, it means a lot to me, it really does. And to perform as a team like we did, it was brilliant.
And your hat-trick, I mean, just talk us through those 3 tries.
Yeah, they were all pretty good, but it was all made by pretty special people around me. You know, George, play against him week in, week out, and he terrorised defences. And, you know, lucky enough I was on the end of that. And then Jake, who's a great centre, and we've got great fellas all over the park. People miss out who are top quality, and it just shows what a good team chemistry we've got.
And defensively, I mean, you must be beating black and blue under there.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest, but with me, I put my hat on the line every time, and you know, it took me a while to put the shirt on, but it means a lot to me, and I'll do anything for this, I will.
And you've won the series.
Yeah, it's good, but a lot more to do yet. You know, 3 games for England, there's another chance they pull this, you know, historic shirt on, and that'll be just as big.
Well done, Tommy. Well, let's go in the man who made a couple of those tries for you. Jake Connor. Jake, in that split second, is it just instinctive, the kind of passes you were giving to Tommy there?
Yeah, it's kind of something I've been waiting for over the 2 games. You know, it's something that I'm pretty good at, and you know, as soon as I see that winger sinking, you know, I know I've got him, and I've just got to pick the pass in. You know, he's still got to finish it, and you know, Tommy's one of the best wingers I've played with, and you know, it shows today how much of a good game he had.
But I mean, you played a couple of games together, to have that kind of understanding so quickly, that's quite something.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're always talking to each other on and off the field. We're always at each other. And, you know, it's important that we both know what we want from each other. So, you know, I know he's got the speed, and if I can put him in a bit of space, I know he's going to finish.
And how special have these 2 games been? This whole experience for you?
Yeah, it's mad. You know, I've never been part of anything like this before, and you know, to see over the series, over 2 wins over the Kiwis when we got off to such a slow start, and you know, I thought we were in for a real game, and you know, luckily in the second half we got us act together, and we piled the pressure on a lot more and completed a lot of sets, and you know, finished a few moves off, and you know, I was just happy to get the win.
Well done, fella. Let's bring in assistant coach Paul Wellens. Paul, this is something really quite special with England right now, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. You know, we showed signs in the World Cup last year, but the guys have come together and really backed it up for this series. You know, that was a super committed performance. Albeit in the first half we weren't at our best, but the way the guys hang in there for each other and their commitment to the shirt, more importantly, is what saw us through.
And if you think how many changes you've had to make since the World Cup, the depth in English Rugby League must be exciting you.
Yeah, I think that is really exciting. It's probably something that we've lacked in years gone by. But the guys who, you know, the new guys that have come into the group have slotted straight in, and it's showing in the performances.
Well done, Paul. Let's bring in Dali Martin Zalesniak. A very different feeling for you. You gave everything out there. It just hasn't quite been your day today. A little bit like last week. Yeah, that's it. Firstly, I want to congratulate England on a good series. We still got one more game left, but obviously them winning it into their fans, they're really good for them. And yeah, we just weren't good enough tonight, and it showed on the field and with the result. Is a little bit the same that you had your chances, didn't you? A little bit like last week. Is it a case of kicking yourselves a little bit because it was there for you? Yeah, 100%. We know we can play better than that, but credit to England. They're tough to beat over here, and it showed again tonight. And they're a quality side even without their big fellas playing. So yeah, credit to them and congratulations. It's an awesome game. We appreciate you talking to us. Thank you, Darren. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
For many years, Brian Noble, we've talked about needing superstars in this sport to break through to the wider sporting public. And maybe we've seen the start of something today in Tommy Makinson.
Tommy Makinson, Jake Connor. There's a lot of young players there put their names up in what was considered an inexperienced England team, but I absolutely fully agree that the depth of talent now coming through for the national side gives Wayne Bennett some headaches. He has had a smile at the end of the game, so he might have to have two smiles. That was a brilliant performance, certainly in the second half.
He was keen at the end, Makinson, to point out the work of Connor, Robbie to Port, and point out the work of Lomax. England down the left, but their left were excellent.
Yeah, you can obviously say they've come away from last week. They've really gone in, set up some plays, and put those plays into action, and that's where they scored the points on. Good structured plays.
Yeah, I think Tommy Makinson will get all the credit for the tries he scored, and look, that's what his job is, being on the wing, but he contributes so much more than that, and his carries, the way he defended tonight was exceptional, but his tries ultimately what he gets the man of the match award for, and you know, he's an exceptional finisher, he's a great character and a good guy to have in your team. I thought him, Luke Thompson, Josh Hodgson was incredible too, Jake Connor, some standout performances in the second half.
As you say, you pick out so many performances, Brian, we ought to pick out Josh Hodgson as well. 43 tackles this afternoon.
He was immense, and his play out of dummy half as well, his subtle touches and his dexterity to unleash that left-hand side, along with Whitehead, really shifted the game in England's favour. I thought he was outstanding, you're right.
But it's just the start, as Makinson said.
Yeah, this is a very young England squad. I think Paul Wellens alluded to the depth now that they've got, and that's a real bonus. You know, three years out from another tournament, England have an opportunity to really go on and push for winning something.
Well, thank you to all three of you. We're going to continue on the red button. You can get your tweets in, #BBCRL. #BBCRL. We'll show all the tries on the red button. See you shortly.